Hey, in this week's episode of the Game Informer Show, we're going to be giving our impressions of Kirby Air Riders.
The thing that I wasn't expecting is how, despite the controls being simple, the races feel insane. There's so much going on the screen.
We'll also talk about a brand new indie game called Morsels.
Yeah, it's like Pokemon meets The Binding of Isaac if it was a Cartoon Network show in the year 2003.
And for the bulk of the episodes, we're going to be sharing our thoughts on Game Award nominees, as well as playing a Game Awards themed game show, GI Oughta Know. Hey everybody, welcome to the Game Informer Show, a weekly podcast covering the video game industry. Join us each and every week for a discussion of the latest gaming news, reviews, and exclusive reveals with Game Informer staff and special guests from around the industry. I am your host, Marcus Stewart, and I am presenting the Game Award for Most Tall in the game industry to Charles Hart. How are you?
Wow, I'm so excited. I'm so honored. I'm so glad Greg Rice of I don't know what he works for Day of the Devs. What's the I Am 8-Bit maybe? I gotta look it up. He's like an indies guy. He's taller than me, so he was nominated this year. So I got to win. I guess the moral of the story.
See, he's not the most tall though. Not tallest, most tall.
Sure, I have the most tall in me. I understand. Thank you. I'm gonna talk for 6 more minutes until the music plays me out.
Okay. And also nominated for the Game Award for Sexiest Voice, it's Eric Van Allen. Hello.
I thought you were going to say for fewest weeks.
Like alive or just at Game Informer?
No. For context, we almost started this podcast with me not recording my microphone, and that would have really just impacted me in a bad way. So gratefully we caught it, and we are here podcasting, and you can hear my sultry baritone over the airwaves.
Sultriest baritone award.
Finally.
I'm glad I had to rescind the nomination for most mentally distressed until you caught your mic mishap. But yes, everyone, if you weren't aware, we are going to be talking about the Game Award nominations on this episode. We're going to be giving our thoughts on the nominations, some of the big ones, and talking about our predictions for who we think might walk away with that cool, like, winged lady trophy that Geoff Keighley likes throwing at people every year. We're also going to be playing a new edition of GI Oughta Know related to the Game Awards that our lovely host, Charles Hart, has made up for us. Really excited for that. We're also going to be talking about Kirby Air Riders, which launched this week, as well as Morsels, a cool new indie game that I think all of us here have had our eye on. That released this week. So yeah, packed show. But before we get into it, of course, as always, if you would like to support Game Informer, you can do it by getting yourself a Game Informer magazine subscription. Yes. As Charles Hart is holding up right now, he's got a copy of our new Dragon Quest VII Reimagined issue. Oh my goodness, Eric Van Allen has one too. Eric, look at him opening up the magazine, shiniest pages. We got the improved paper quality. We've got the hottest previews, features, reviews, all in there. Photos. Look at a photo of Eric pointing at himself playing Magic the Gathering. We got it all in this magazine. Exactly. Yes, and you too can do that. You can get yourself a Game Informer magazine subscription by going to GameInformer.com/subscribe. It gets you 10 issues a year, both physical and digital. You can also subscribe to a digital-only version for a reduced price. And exciting news if you missed it this week, Game Informer magazine, starting next month, December, is coming to newsstands and bookstores, finally, for the first time in ages, right? I'm trying to remember. Eons. Like, I think in the 90s you could find Game Informer in like certain bookstores, but that may as well have not existed because, we weren't there.
I wasn't there.
Yeah, I had a really funny conversation because in some of the marketing copy that we used, I had used the phrase, "We're back on newsstands," and I had a moment where I was like, how long ago was it that we were on newsstands? Were we on newsstands? Did I like Berenstein Bears that? And no, it was real. It just like predates most of us here, I think. And that's how long it's been.
But Charles's life.
Probably. If it was in the 90s, yeah, I was born in 2000.
Oh, yeah, that's wild.
But a wee boy back then. But yes, we are going to be available in U.S. Bookstores such as Barnes & Nobles, Books A Million. We're going to be in Gelson's. What is Gelson's? Gelson's? I've never heard of that one, but we're going to be there too.
Yeah.
I think it's British. Is it British?
It says U.S. I'm looking at our
Okay, maybe not.
article post online, and I just see Gelson's. I need to look up Gelson's because I want to go there because I like that name. And I'm going to go there to get
Gelson's
a
Markets?
Game Informer yeah, we'll call it that.
That's it's a grocery store in Southern California.
Okay.
Well, you know what? All you
Not
Gelson's enthusiasts, while you're picking up your produce and your boxed milk, as you do, specifically boxed milk, you can also pair that with a fresh Game Informer magazine. Isn't that right, Eric?
Boxed milk. Oh man, I mean, I guess that makes sense. It's probably better for the earth.
There's cartons of milk, right? And that's kind of a box.
It is.
I'm picturing it like boxed wine, where it has like the kind of spout and everything.
Which it's really bagged, but the box hides the bag because just a bag of milk would be more disturbing.
I mean, spout of milk would go kind of crazy for doing cereal and stuff in the morning. Like I'm starting to come around on the idea of spouted wine or spouted milk. But I don't know.
The magazine comes in bags. We have not gotten into spout
true.
technology yet, so I don't know if that's
Yeah.
something we need to work on. Is putting a spout on Game Informers. You let us know, subscribers, if that's something you would enjoy. If it would improve your reading experience, we can get on that. But yes. In the United States, those are some of the stores that we'll be in. We're also excited to announce that this extends internationally. So we've heard you for months, international readers, how you want to get a Game Informer magazine subscription. We still have not worked out the kinks on like a proper subscription, but in the meantime, you can go to magazine merchants in the UK, Australia, the Netherlands, Sweden, Germany, Austria, Portugal, Italy, Greece, Cyprus, Hungary, Turkey, the United Arab Emirates, Thailand, and Japan. Magazine merchants in all the countries I just listed will have Game Informer on their shelves. That will begin in January. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, you can also get them in stands in Canada, all of our friends up there, France, Spain, and Poland. All of those countries. Basically, just the world, the whole world.
Yeah. Some will be right away, I think, and some or in December, I should say, and some will be in January. We have all the info on an article over on the website. You can go check it out. We've got tons of stuff up there. Chances are, if you have a question, read the article first. It will have most of that info, and then if you read the article and you still have a question, you can always email, comment, whatever. But this is huge. I mean, I have friends in Canada who have wanted to read Game Informer for a while and just haven't been able to. I mean, getting the access out there is awesome in terms of people just seeing us on newsstands and also seeing gaming magazines on newsstands, which is something that I don't think we've had for a while, but it's fun to see come back, especially, I don't know, I'm in a physical mood lately, I want to go buy physical books. I want to get vinyl and things like that. So having the magazines there too is all perfect.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm excited too. My girlfriend's already threatened to embarrass me by going to Barnes and Nobles and making a scene about being like, I know someone that writes that. Go take a picture, hold it.
Marcus, did you ever at a GameStop go up and like buy something and be like, oh, Game Informer's here, huh? What do you think of those? And ever get them to get them to be like, oh, I'm in there, if you open it up.
Not on purpose, but it did happen probably in a funnier way, where I went in there. This was probably within my first year of working here, and I was at the counter, and I used my then employee number, and I had to explain like, oh, I write for the magazine, and the guy was really excited. And then right when he asked my name, this was back when we used to have Game Informer videos air in the stores, like our NGTs. And right when he asked my name, the big screen behind him started playing an NGT for TMNT Shredder's Revenge that I was on. And I just hear myself introducing myself. And I go, and then he like hears it, and then he looks behind, and then looks at me, and then looks behind. He goes, oh, that's your voice. And then it's like, yeah, I'm
That's
Marcus.
sick. That's awesome.
So, yeah, it was very funny. But yes, like I said, keep an eye out over the next couple of months. Depending on what country you're in, your area, you can start seeing Game Informer magazine pop up in bookstores and magazines. And like Eric said, we have an article on the website where you can read all the deets about that. And yeah, appreciate your support in advance. But yes, let's get right into it. New games this week: Kirby Air Riders, the sequel to the GameCube cult classic Kirby Air Ride, Masahiro Sakurai's passion project. He squeezed out like 500 directs about this game to talk about how excited he is to be making this once again. Charles, you have been playing it. How has it paid off? First and foremost, I want to know, did you play Air Ride back in the day? Are you one of
Absolutely
these like...
not. No,
okay.
I was fully a toddler, and also like I don't think it ever got re-released. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, it's a hard game to get your hands on. So even once I was like, oh, this seems like interesting to me, I never like sought it out. But no, I haven't played that much of it. We got our Nintendo relationship was kind of weird because we got taken off the list. We're now back on it, so you can start to expect Nintendo reviews for us more like closer to release date. Hopefully starting with Metroid coming up soon, but we'll see. But this one, I just got it on release day, which is the day that we're talking about it. So I played, all of like an hour of the game. Never played Kirby Air Ride, but it's so funny how Sakurai has such an identity when he makes his games. Like, he found out a structure that worked for like Kirby Superstar, and that's how all the games feel. You start it up, you got like a big musical sequence, and then the menu is just kind of like a bunch of floating shapes. I just love that. And it feels like, I would say if obviously if you're like really in the competitive scene of Smash Bros, this isn't going to scratch the Smash Bros itch. But if you've been like, man, it's been a really long time since I played Smash Ultimate, I kind of miss that. It has Smash Bros vibes, just like the energy of the menus and just like clicking on the stuff. And it's very, I think the thing that caught me off guard so much is that like the appeal of Kirby Air Ride, right, is it's a kart racer game and there's like one button. Mm-hmm. And this one, there's a whole big thing that they added a second button so you can use special moves now. But it's pretty straightforward. The thing that I wasn't expecting is how, despite the controls being simple, the races feel insane. There's so much going on the screen. The first course is like a little flower garden that you kind of fly through, and that's fine. And the second course is like this... You're like driving through a typhoon and like the sea splits Moses style, and you're like weaving in between like these giant walls of the sea floor, and then you're grinding up in like a huge grind rail and then going down a whirlpool. It's like,
is that what happened in Moses? It was in Kirby Air Ride race
that was how they got through. Yeah.
Oh. That's what it says in Hebrew, and then in all the translations to English, that the rail grinding part kind of got lost.
Importantly, the Beyblade was also involved. That was what parted the sea.
Exactly, yeah. But yeah, it's just like visually, like for lack of a better term, feels expensive. There's like so much going on, and you can tell there's a lot of like detail and intense like animations and stuff that went into it. And then also you're just like barraged with. Like, you boot up the game, and before you even get to see a menu, it's like, bar, 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 and you get, like, the achievement for opening the game for the first time. And you complete a race, it's like, bar, 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 you completed a race. Here's a new cart. Bar, 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 you completed this course. Here's a new racer. Bar, 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 you completed it in this number of laps. You got this new thing.
Charles, you would notice, because this is before your time. Eric, you might, but is it making the sound that Face from Nick Jr. used to make?
Oh my god.
Remember
I'm
Face?
not doing a super accurate.
It's like, is it that? That's all I'm hearing.
That's such a specific, like, I don't think I could have lifted that out of my subconscious without you leading me there, but now it is like surfaced, and it's all I can think about is that giant face on the screen and him doing the little like mouth noises and stuff like that. Oh man.
It sounds better than the sound I'm making. I don't know if I'm definitely not getting the notes right. Anyways, it's also a thing I appreciate is I like unlocking stuff in my racing games. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I don't like the feeling of booting up a game and being like, the fun I'm gonna have from this is just playing the content they have over and over again. I like feeling a sense of progression.
Yeah,
And like
I love that about
earned all
Mario
this.
Kart.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
every time you'll finish a race and they'll be like, "You got a new car," and you're like, "Yeah."
Yeah, Mario Kart World, I feel like I wasn't like unlocking as much as I wanted to. Like there's only really one big unlockable, but then there's the open world, etc., etc. But what were you gonna say, Eric? Sorry.
I was going to say, like, the difference for me, I think, with Mario Kart World versus other kart racers is that I like it when there's kind of a progression that pushes me through the courses. And I think that was maybe why I disconnected with World a little bit, is because it was trying to give me a more open experience. But for me, a lot of my kart racers when I was young, I played a lot of Mario Kart on the Game Boy Advance, which was not a great Mario Kart, but it was a serviceable Mario Kart for a small child. And I would play those courses back to back to back to just kind of get better at them and get used to the karts and play the different characters. And because it was only one of like 3 games I had at the time on my Game Boy Advance. But that's what can make a kart racer really engaging, is when it feels good to just run those courses over and over and over again. And then you always kind of have like a little bit of a carrot on the end of the stick where it's like, okay, if I beat this, if I'm playing Chocobo Racing, I can try and get Squall unlocked and stuff like that. But really, I'm just playing to enjoy the courses, with maybe getting my times good enough, getting my completions fast enough to get the next thing that I need. And I feel like when you don't have that and more of the unlocks are based around explore the world, race with other characters so you get their skins, it like doesn't do the same thing for me. I do feel like there needs to be a little bit of that, like completing courses gets you things.
Yeah, I agree. I really liked in Smash Ultimate where you start with so few characters and you have to unlock like all of them. I think that's really fun. In this game, you start with 4 characters. You start with Kirby, Meta Knight, King DDD, and Waddle Dee. Not Waddle Doo. That's the one-eye one, right? Or is that something different?
I think you're right. I think Waddle Doo's
It's Waddle
the
Dee.
Cyclops.
Waddle Dee's the one you have.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's like if you watched the direct for this game or any of them, you're like, oh my gosh, they pulled every Kirby and every random Kirby NPC you could possibly think of as making an appearance in this game.
So they did like Mario Kart World, where that's like every Mario NPC they could pull is a racer.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
That is
where it's
sick.
like
Yeah.
mostly characters. It's like, I didn't know this had a name. I knew this little mushroom guy was a guy. Apparently his name is Cappy and he has abilities that I don't know about. And you start with 4 characters, and there's just me knowing that there's so many to unlock just by playing the game. It's just like very encouraging. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to have a lot of fun doing this. And then also the warp stars. I can't remember if they're all called warp stars or if they have like a name for the vehicles that I'm not remembering properly. But those are also all very different, like very different play styles. It'll change how fast you move in the air, on the ground. Your drift, which is called like a boost dash, I want to say. This game has a lot of proper nouns I'm not remembering, but it's funny because it is one of those games that like has all the proper nouns, but also like you could pick it up and understand it pretty quickly. But yeah, and there's a bunch of stuff in here I haven't dug into yet, but my first impression is it's a lot, and I'm glad that it feels like a lot. It doesn't feel like this is a game that I'm gonna play for a few hours and get everything that there is out of it. It's something that is like encouraging me to go back and try it out more and more. And even just, the range of achievements of being like, if you beat the stage fast enough, you get a thing. If you beat the stage without ever touching the spikes, you get a thing. And if you beat it without, I don't know, XYZ, there's like a huge grid of achievements for each mode of the game. So that's for like air ride, that's for city ride, which is kind of like the open world combat arena kind of thing. But yeah, I'll have my review up next week probably, but I'm enjoying my time so far, and I'm very excited.
Is there anything besides just races? Like, is there like competitive or anything besides just standard?
So
I guess
you can do online. You can do time trials. City Ride is one that is like it drops you in a kind of like large map, and I believe this was in or City Trial. Sorry, that's what it's called. and this was, I believe, also in the original Kirby Air Ride, but you're kind of dropped in like it's a city and like an open meadow. You explore around and find little stat boosts and essentially power up your cart with a bunch of different stats. And at the very end, everyone will do like a race or something. There's like a few different things it can be. There's a race. There's like a target shooting kind of thing where you fly and you try to hit the thing with the most points. And depending on what your boosts and bonuses are, you'll be like, I want to do a race, or I want to do combat, or I want to do that target thing. And that's one that they really, I mean, there's a lot of achievements there, but I think the idea is that it's one big map, but you'd be playing that mode a lot.
Is it comparable to the free roam in Mario Kart World?
No, because it's like, it's got like a 5-minute timer. And it's not that big of a map. Like if you play it a few times, I think you'll get like a sense of everything that's in there, but you're dropped in the map with like, I want to say it's like 16 total players, and you're all like competing and trying to get all the stat boosts you can, to beat the others.
Gotcha.
It seems like it could be a really good like couch co-op type game, and that is what maybe most appeals to me about it, which is I've found that Mario Kart is really enjoyable for online multiplayer. If you do a knockout race a few times now, I think the most fun I've had with Mario Kart World has been just getting as large of a lobby as I possibly can and everybody flooding into one Discord call and just commencing absolute chaos, and that's really, really good for that. But I think I haven't tried Cross Worlds yet, Sonic Cross Worlds, but I've been wanting that kind of casual couch, like local co-op type game. I didn't think Mario Kart World was going to be that from what I've played of it in that sort of smaller co-op arena. And this sounds like it could be that, where it's easy to just hand a controller to somebody who maybe doesn't play a lot of games or who has only ever played, you know, like regular Mario Kart and things like that, and just wants a real good, like, course racer or something that we can just kind of goof off in. And Kirby Air Riders might be it. It's looking really good for that.
Yeah, I was going to say just of Mario Kart World that I wanted something to scratch the Mario Kart itch that I had for a while, and I liked Mario Kart World, but was finding it didn't really scratch that itch, and I'm hoping that Kirby Air Riders, the more I play it, kind of fills that role for me.
Yeah, I guess for me, I got, like, I like World. I'm probably, like, it feels like we all, like, collectively turned on Mario Kart World as time went on.
It just didn't age as well as I feel like I thought it would.
It was really enjoyable for a few weeks, but I don't think. I mean, like, but Mario Kart has always existed as a constant in my life. Like, it's something. Even the previous Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch was like, you had it because you owned a Switch. Why would you own a Switch and not own Mario Kart? But right. It is also like the app that you boot up to play games with friends. It's not necessarily something that I would sit down and be like, I want to play this specifically. Like I play other games that way. Mario Kart is the game I bust out when it's like friends are coming over, or, you know, we're having, when I was younger, we'd do sleepovers and stuff like that. We'd play Mario Kart 64. We'd play Mario Kart Double Dash. Like, it was never the like solo play or even kind of like thing I would get super invested in type game. And I think Mario Kart World slotted into that. And then its focus on kind of knockout races, somewhat to the detriment of the normal flow of a Mario Kart, ended up just further pushing it that way. Where it's like, I'll break it out for the big sessions and fun playing online and doing silly stuff. But for local co-op, even for like 2-player, 3-player, 4-player, it hasn't been that game for me.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I played it again recently for the first time in a while, like locally with 2 other people, and still had fun, and was like, yeah, it's got the Mario Kart charm, but also, like, I've been playing Sonic Racing Cross Worlds recently, also locally, and that has scratched the itch of a more, I guess, traditional kart racer, to where I'm wondering now what Kirby could give me, since Sonic is kind of doing that really well now. And it's like, do I want like a simpler version of what Sonic is giving me? And then also I still have Mario Kart. Like, I'm trying to figure out like what hole would Kirby fill for me?
There is a gerbil with a cowboy hat. That's like really important to know, is that you can get Ricky, the little hamster gerbil thing, and you can put a cowboy hat on him.
It's
so
important to mention, you can put the cowboy hat on anyone in this entire freaking game. They got
on anyone.
They got a
if you want the cowboy hat on Meta Knight, I assume you can do that.
Oh.
I assume he can be rootin' and tootin'. So
Yeehaw, Meta Knight's famous
yes.
catchphrase. There's
he's
also a
he's
story
just
mode in this game I'm excited to play, by the way, with like a new dark kind of Meta Knight-esque character that is like the main like teased antagonist for the game.
Okay.
Interesting. I saw you can also change the color schemes on. So people were doing funny stuff with Kirby's Warp Star where they were putting like minion overalls on it and things like that.
Yeah,
have you like tinkered with that much or?
I have not yet, but I know. Yeah, you can like customize your Warp Stars or like the other vehicles, and I believe you can like put them up on a shop. Like you can browse other people's creations. I might be misunderstanding that, but
have you
I
found
love
any...
the idea. Eric has a look in his eyes.
I was gonna say, like,
scary.
how moderated is that? Like, how long before we see a problematic Warp Star?
Let me look this up before I misinform all.
I want this to be like Picto Chat, all right, or I want this to be like just the open
like,
forums of the Wii,
Miiverse.
you know, like yeah, Miiverse type stuff. I need to see like absolute just terrible posting because like I said, minion overalls on the Warp Star is like the level of what I'm looking for. I need like a really bad Sonic like scrawled on the side of one of my cards.
How long before like we just see a penis on a Warp Star is what
right.
I'm asking.
Yeah, it says in the My Machines menu, this is Wikipedia is my source, the vehicles can be fully customized with items purchased by the player, which can be listed online for sale in other people's shops.
Sick.
So you get like existing, I don't think you can just free draw. I think you get like existing stickers and items, but I think it's just the way people are smart about
people will find a way. Life finds a way.
Yeah. I already saw one that it was like the Warp Star, except it had a face and it was wearing a bikini, and it's just like, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Did it say burr, burr, burr?
might as well have.
Yeah, I want to make the wrestling fan in me wants to just make Edge's rated R superstar art like logo on the star. That'd be good, I think.
I want to make the more you know star from the CBS thing or whatever. Like the more you know.
Yeah. But there's like a lot here, and I think yeah, my main excited takeaway so far is I can very much feel the Sakurai in this. And one of my favorite games of all time is Kid Icarus Uprising, which is another like weird Sakurai game that I think is very underrated, but it has that kind of vibe where he's like, it's a very simple seeming concept for a game, and you're going to be surprised by how much game I can cram into this little guy, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's not in the game for how much he has clearly enjoyed making this. Which, hey, you know, more power to him. He's slaved away on Smash Brothers. He's earned this. But yeah, Kirby Air Riders out now on Switch 2, and is it on regular Switch or is it just Switch 2? Actually,
I believe it's just Switch 2.
Okay, Switch couldn't handle those Warp Stars.
Honestly, I'm gonna like send you guys a recording of just one of the races after this. You can understand how like it's just like a real sensory overload, and I could feel a Switch. Thinking about it, I can imagine the Switch getting really hot in my hands if it was a Switch 1.
Oh, that'd be sick, though. Can you imagine Switches exploding from the power of Kirby Air Riders? Like, that'd be kind of awesome.
It's like Breath of the Wild couldn't do it, but Kirby Air Riders brought the Switch to its knees.
That meme where the guy's playing piano and the piano's on fire.
Yes.
That's like this, but Sakurai coding Air Riders for the Switch 1.
It's Sakurai sitting at the desk with his Joy-Cons, and there's like a kickstanded Switch in front of him like on fire, and he's like, the Switch 1 was not ready for Kirby Air Riders.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, moving on from one character that likes to eat a lot to a game that is seemingly all about food, at least based on the name. Charles, you're going to have to tell us all about this. This is Morsels, a new indie game by Furcula and published by Annapurna Interactive. I don't even know how you describe this. It's kind of like a creature collecting roguelike. It's got this really colorful and kind of cool sort of like pixel artish art style. I've been really looking forward to this. I'm excited to try it. But yeah, how is Morsels so far?
Yeah, it's like Pokemon meets The Binding of Isaac if it was a Cartoon Network show in the year 2003. So
okay.
it's got kind of like a gross quote unquote aesthetic. But it's all like pixelated. There's like I don't know what you call the The lines on the screen. What are those TVs called? I can't
Oh,
remember.
like a
Scan line?
CRT?
Or
Like a
Yeah,
CRT scan line?
it's got the
Yeah.
CRT scan
oh yeah,
lines on
it does have
Yeah.
that. Yeah, like kind of filter over it.
Yeah, it feels like an old game you found like at the bottom of a bargain bin. You're like, what is this thing? You plug it in.
Yeah, this is the game that Courage the Cowardly Dog would play on his computer.
Yeah, exactly. And so the way the game works is you are a little mouse in a world that's been taken over by these giant cat authority figures, I guess. They're like evil cats. And as you're going along, you collect these little cards, and they have morsels on them, which are just like little dudes. And each morsel has a different, it's like a twin stick shooter. So each morsel has a different shooting mechanic, and they have a different like special ability.
Yeah, there's a lot of like bullet hell stuff in
Yes,
this game.
yeah. And so like, for example, one of them is like a Gumzol. That's what his name is. He's like a little piece of chewing gum. He's got like a pretty standard fire, and then his special ability blows a bubble around him that like protects you from stuff as long as you're staying still. So that's cool. Then there's one that's like a little flower dude, and his fire is like a kind of like a shotgun blast, and his specifically, they all have different criteria for when they crit. So his crits if you're right next to someone. So he like really prioritizes like getting up close and trying to hit them without getting hit. There's another one that's a rock. I think his name is Pebzel, and his ability is rock, and then the description is just rocks. And I had to figure this out with him, but you just run into him with that. Like, I don't know how he takes damage. Maybe only takes damage from projectiles, but doesn't take damage from touching people.
From contact,
but he's one that you like fling yourself at enemies. And then the catch of this all is each of them has 3 hearts. And if it dies, it's like wiped out of your party. And you only have 3 slots, but a lot of the times you're just starting with the one. So you're collecting more of them to have more of like an arsenal, to be like more well-rounded in a run. But also, if one dies, that's like a life gone basically, and you have to find a new one to go. I've done a few runs of it so far. It's very fun. It's very like unique and quirky. I basically, the one run where I made it to the first boss, I cleared the first boss without taking any damage, and then I made it through the next level, and I cleared the second boss without taking any damage. For some reason, I find the bosses way easier than like the general rest of the game, because there's a lot more elements like throwing stuff at you in like an average level versus like in a boss encounter.
Does it feel good, like combat and all that stuff? Because it looks super smooth just watching it.
It does feel good. I kind of suck, but again, I keep perfecting these bosses, so I'm like confused at my own skill level here. I think one thing that's a little challenging with it is, and I think it might be frustrating for some people, but you kind of really have to embrace the roguelike of it. You'll get one that's like your favorite guy, and then he'll die, and then you'll be stuck with like a morsel you don't like using, or that is not your favorite to use, and have to like go until you find a better guy. So I had one I really liked. I cannot remember what he looked like, but you would shoot enemies and it barely did any damage, but if you hit them enough times, they would like sprout on their head, and if you press the special button, they would like explode into a bunch of vines and damage everyone around them.
Oh, I love stuff
like
like that, where you kind of build up and then detonate to do a bunch of damage and then have like additional effects. That's so good.
That was really cool, and I did it on one of the bosses, and that was like extremely satisfying to blow the boss up into a bunch of vines and stuff. The other mechanic is all the morsels have XP. If you get them in XP, they evolve. And they turn into a more powerful morsel. Except if you evolve again, they die. So there's a limit basically to how much you can use a morsel. If one of them you really like and you really lock in and you're really committing to them, you have to be careful to swap out with your other ones, even though that one's more powerful, because if it gets too much XP, then he just dies and you got to get a new one. So there's kind of like a time limit on it too. It's really encouraging you to be like, try all the morsels out, get used to it, don't get too comfortable, because that's not what it's about.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I find that super interesting, because we actually internally had a discussion not long ago about like the challenges that roguelike games put in front of you compared to, say, a more structured linear story-based game that isn't focused on runs. And this is kind of an interesting paradigm in design where it's like a lot of the challenge in these games does come from walking into a boss room and saying, I have the tools that I have gained up to this point. How do I make this work here? And so that sounds really interesting to me because it almost does force you to say, okay, I've got my best tool. Do I want to use it to get through the rooms to get to the boss fights? Maybe if you're in your situation and you're like, I have this boss down, I could beat him with anything, basically, then you maybe want to use some of the nicer stuff to make sure that you can get there and not lose anything in the process, dump a morsel in the process or whatever. But vice versa, maybe you do have those decisions where you have to kind of manage what your resources are. And I kind of like that. That's like an interesting little piece of friction to toss in there, a fun wrench to say like, hey, don't lean on one thing. Because I think when I play stuff like, say, Slay the Spire, Binding of Isaac, it's so easy to just get the good stuff, especially if you're not playing on the higher escalations and things like that, to say, I just want the good stuff. And once I have the good stuff, I'm kind of on autopilot at that point, and it's user error if I don't succeed. And I like it more when there's kind of a little bit of pushback to say like, we're going to make sure you can't just hit autopilot through some of this stuff.
Yeah, there's also a structure where in between each main level, there's like a little rest point, and you'll encounter like these odd, like big creatures. So sometimes it would be like a big crow or like a dog or something. And in one of them, it was like a crane, and you have to talk to them before you can move on. You get one of two choices. And often the second choice requires a wish, which is like a currency you can find in the world by like completing challenges. So there's like a little monkey toy. If you bring it to the end of the level, then that'll get you a wish usually. But it's hard because when you're carrying it, you can't attack. So you got to like put it down, shoot, pick it back up. It's like a real challenge thing. Kind of reminds me of like Spelunky in that sense, almost, of like it's randomly generated. You're trying to find items and bring it to the end. But sometimes you'll get to a scenario where you guys know the game Episode, like the mobile game.
No,
it's like this is a real weird swear. It's like an adventure game. It's like marketed towards women, and it'll be like Sasha and Brad at High School High, and you'll be playing as Sasha, and it'll have you do decisions, but it has these really predatory microtransactions where it'll be like, Brad's like, so do you want to go to dinner? And to say yes, it costs 100 gems, but to say no is free. Yeah. And it's like trying to squeeze the money out of you. This is like that, where it's like, there was one where I found this giant crane and he's like, I'm hungry for a snack. And I can either say, eat my Pebzel, or no for a wish. And I didn't have a wish. So I'm like, okay, one of my guys just died. One of my 3 guys is just gone now, and I can't do anything about that. So it is kind of like, I said Spelunky. I think that's honestly a good comparison sometimes, because I think another part of it is going in and being like, some runs are just going to suck. You're going to get a guy you don't like to start out with, and you're just not going to vibe with him, or you're going to take a lot of damage real quick. The like macro progression, at least what I've gotten so far, has been more like I'm unlocking new upgrades that my morsels can have, but I myself am not getting like more health to start a run or doing more damage to start a run. So it's a little bit more dependent on like your skill growing over time versus like a Hades or a Hades 2, where you're like boosting your max health and getting death defiances, etc.
Right.
So it's a very classic feeling roguelike in that sense. The art is really good. The music is fantastic. It's the same composer that does Grindstone, which is a game I love and still play all the time. So yeah, definitely worth checking out. I'm enjoying it. I'm hoping I can kind of like get into the groove again for that one run I had that was really good, because other than that, I've been absolute garbage, but it's fun. It's cool.
Yeah, I'm excited to try it. A quick question. I've noticed in like the videos, there's like points where it looks like the art style changes and it's a little more 3D. Have you run into that yet? And if I'm wondering if that's just like a one-off segment, or if that's something that just...
when you say 3D, do you mean like CG 3D, or it has like a 3D effect with the pixels?
Like, I guess closer to CG, through like the perspective changed or something. Yeah.
Oh.
I have not had that yet, I don't think.
Okay, I only remember seeing it in the trailers, and I was like, oh, what's going on there? And I wasn't sure if that was like a recurring thing, or maybe like a one-off level or boss or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of like, there's like little mouse holes that have like mini games in them. There's a bunch of like weird secret stuff. like that, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's just like randomly a part that like this is the game where you could enter a hole in the wall and it'd be like it's claymation now, and you're like that makes sense. That's how the game would work.
Yeah.
Which gives that vibe. The title screen, I will say, does like a crazy effect with like reds and blues, so it looks 3D somehow. I don't really know how to explain it, but if you just look at the title screen, it's like a vortex sucking you in.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, that's Morsels is out now. I'm excited to play it, but at the same time, I'm scared to get sucked into another roguelike when I'm still very much trying to beat Hades 2.
Oh yeah. How
I-
many do you have a sense of how close you are to finishing Hades 2?
I'm not close just because I've had to focus on other games and like work games. So I have finished one run on each path. So I know I have a ways to go. Yeah.
Okay, but doing having beaten each one for the first time is like the biggest hurdle, I feel like. Like once you've broken the seal, it's like yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like I have to put all my like roguelike like energy into that and not get distracted by another roguelike. As much as I want to play this, but we'll see if I keep that promise or not. If nothing else, maybe it'll have to be like a holiday game, something to play over the break. I think it's on Switch. I hope so, because that's kind of where I'm eyeing to play
thank you for mentioning it, actually. I am playing it on Switch. I would probably recommend not playing it on Switch.
Oh, okay.
There was a patch that came in today, so maybe it was running a little better, but I was noticing it would just kind of freeze up a little bit. Like I'd have like big frame drops. And it's like a twitchy enough game that's not fun. The most frequently it happens is when I'm like loading into a new level, and then it's usually fine, but sometimes it'll get kind of overwhelmed and stutter a little bit.
Yeah. Is this a Switch 1 game, or is there a native Switch 2
It's Switch
version?
1. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm playing Switch 1 version on a Switch 2. I believe it works well on Steam Deck. Or at least they told us it did. I haven't played it on Steam Deck, so I can't say firsthand, but yeah, probably not a great Switch game unless they patched it today and it works better. But yeah.
Okay. Well, yes, that's Morsels, everyone. Go check it out. Sounds super cool. And yeah, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about the nominees for the Game Awards, as well as our new quiz game, GI Oughta Know, all about the TGAs. We'll be right back. And we're back. And we're going to be talking about the Game Awards. Yes, Geoff Keighley's annual award show, the biggest award show of the year in video games, definitely the most mainstream. It's going to be taking place December 11th. And you know what? For the first year ever, your boy is going to be there live in person. Yeah, I'm going to be all up in there. I've never been before. You got
to take all the pictures at the hotel afterwards. I'm just very excited for the people you'll run into that are just casually there.
It's an incredible experience for that. I think even more so than other industry events. Even back when I was going to E3 and stuff like that, the concentration of people that are just in the lobby after the Game Awards and hanging out and talking is like you're gonna meet a lot of people that you will not expect to ever really run into anywhere else. It's pretty fun. So highly recommend doing a lot of networking.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I was going to ask, who's the most exciting person that you ran into the Game Awards for you guys, if you had to pick one?
I've never been, so I don't know. I'm hoping you get to see Erika Ishii, because I'm just a big Erika Ishii fan and would love a picture of her with someone I know to be like, aha, I'm 1 degree closer to meeting them.
So you can put your face on my picture. You're going to Photoshop it. Is that what you're going to do?
I met the some of the cast of Immortality, including Manon Gage. That was pretty fun because I love that game. I think that game's absolutely amazing. Also met like Samantha Barrett, who has been here on the show before. Met like various different developers. The composer of Outer Wilds, I think, was 1 year. That might have actually been SGF, but yeah. It's really fun because you get to just meet folks from all different parts of the industry. And they're all just kind of mingling and talking and having a good time. I got into a really long discussion about Final Fantasy 12 and how good that game is with various different developers from different studios and stuff. And it was really fun to be like, good. The sickos have congregated in one area. We're talking about Final Fantasy 12. The world is healing.
Hell yeah. I would be in there because I think Final Fantasy 12 is top tier.
Oh, it's really good. I need to get back to it. I think I'm like halfway through it, playing it for the first time, and it's wonderful. It's so good.
But yes, we're just going to run down not all the categories because there's a lot, but we're going to be going through some of the big ones, just listing them, giving our thoughts, and some predictions on who we think's going to win. Full disclosure: Game Informer, as an outlet, we are part of the voting body for the Game Awards, and that we help select the nominees along with a bunch of other outlets and important people, whether they be influencers or journalists and other, just from all different walks of media life.
It does feel strange the way that's I've said before on social media that's a consensus of a consensus, because like we get a vote and there's obviously multiple people who work here at GI, and then that goes into a pool of multiple different places that then put all their votes, and you can go on the website and see the voting jury stuff here before. And so I always find it really interesting to see what comes out the other side from that, because we have our own ballot, and then seeing how that matches up or doesn't match up afterwards is always very interesting on the other side.
Yeah, it's also good, and I imagine this is for every outlet that has an end of year discussion, but it's kind of like a dress rehearsal for our end of year considerations, because we're having the same discussions about like, okay, what do we want to put on the ballot? What do we think are our top 5 games that should be nominated for Game of the Year, and see how many of them actually make it through, and doing the same for all the other directions. So it's kind of like, for us, it's helpful to kind of get a temperature check on like what our discussions are going to like kind of shape out to be, and kind of see where everyone's at, and also like a reminder of what we still need to play before we get to our discussions. But yeah, I think that maybe one of the biggest sort of like themes of this year is just how many damn awards Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is probably, or it could potentially walk out with. I believe they have around 12 nominations. Like they have a chance to Return of the King this show and walk out with all of them potentially.
And I don't think anyone was surprised by that.
Nah,
I think it's an interesting case of just consensus among the game industry that it's like, well, this game's great and we should all talk about it. And I think it's a fun game to like. And it's worth liking. It's a good game, but it's like a fun like underdog story. I feel like being like, this studio never made a game before. And then it came out.
It also feels weirdly, I don't know how many games there are where it feels like the general public and sort of the critical community are kind of almost unified around this game. Because I feel like sometimes there's like games that critics celebrate that the general public are like, it's overrated, it's dumb or something, it's not that great, it's only like it's critical bait or whatever. But this is one where it just feels like everyone's like, yeah, Clair Obscur, we like that game a lot. It deserves all its flowers.
I'm not going to rule out the possibility of there being some sort of groundswell, like this is the real game of the year surging up like that always happens. I mean, it's the nature of award shows. Award shows are meant to in some ways encourage discussion and debate, but also are really good at stirring up furor and zealotry over what you believe is the greatest. Clair Obscur maybe doesn't surprise me, because I don't mean to say that this is awards bait, but it was the game that was best built to get awards, if that makes sense. It has a lot of really good performances. It has an incredible score. It's very cinematic in the way it approaches everything. It kind of has that verve around it that when I was playing it, I remember thinking at the time, like, this is going to do well at the Game Awards if it ends up getting received well critically. And obviously it all panned out. So that one is both surprising but maybe more so unsurprising that it's doing the thing it was built to do. And it's Clair Obscur. I really, as we go through these categories, every single one I'm looking at, I'm like, well, Clair Obscur is probably the front runner for this category.
It is one of those things that's interesting too, of like, is it like, I think in a lot of categories it might win even if it's like just by default. Like when it's like when you have Game of the Year in a game that's gonna win Game of the Year, that's a thing we have a discussion of sometimes too, of like, well, if this is our Game of the Year, then it also wins Best Indie Game because it's also an indie game. And that's a thing that with Clair Obscur is interesting, that like if it's it's a game that has all these nominations, I would honestly be surprised if it didn't win Game of the Year. But does that mean that like it doesn't automatically win best independent game. Like probably, right?
Yeah, and we'll get into that actually because there's
Sure.
controversy around that a bit, as there usually is every year. But yeah, we'll start with the big one, Game of the Year. So the nominees are, as we mentioned, Clair Obscure. There's also Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Hades 2, Hollow Knight Silksong, and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I've forgotten, this might have changed a while ago, but I'd forgotten that there were more nominees than there used to be for Game of the Year. I was like, oh, there's like six games. I was like, was it always 6? I felt like it was always like 4 or 5, but I think that might have changed maybe in the last year or more.
It's fluctuated for sure, but depending on the year.
Yeah, but overall, like a very strong lineup. There's not too many I would poke holes at personally. Like maybe Donkey Kong for me, as much as I really like that game, that might be the only one I would go, I could maybe put a Blueprints in there instead. I think for me, that is the biggest sort of snub, I guess if we want to call it that. Even more so than Ghost of Yote, I think I would say Blueprints not making it is a little surprising given how kind of like nuts the like media went for that game when it came out. So yeah, I'm a little like, oh, too bad it didn't make it, but
there's a time-honored tradition of really, really good indie games not making it into the GOTY category. Shout outs to Outer Wilds, shout outs to Slay the Spire. But I think that has happened again this year where Blueprints, which we will talk about in another category, did not make it here. And I mean, if I was going to poke holes, I would start probably looking at Death Stranding 2, a game that I think came out to very tepid reception.
I think
like
more
people
than
were
that.
like,
I think
that's definitely Death Stranding again. And
I think it was warm, but not like
like people,
like people liked it, but no one was like, everyone has to drop what they're doing and play Death Stranding 2. And I say people, broadly speaking, it has like a decent Metacritic score, but it didn't set the world on fire.
Sure. It was definitely much more warmly received than the first game, like kind of a lot more of a more universal like positive reception to it. But yeah, even I was actually, that might have surprised me even more than Donkey Kong now that I'm thinking about it when I saw that. But also, I mean, did you not think Kojima's new game was not gonna make the cut?
Well, so that's the thing is, again, like it is important to stress. I know sometimes people like want to hop on Keighley's chest over some of this stuff, but like this is a voting jury, this is a nomination process, and it's not like Keighley's walking in and just saying like, here's my list, this is what everybody in the world is voting on. And so that's, as much as it's fun to make the Kojima jokes, I will say in this instance, I find it interesting that Death Stranding 2 on the Beach has such a wide reaching appeal and is like hitting across the board for so many places. I could see it as an outlier favorite for some places that really gelled with it, but I think the fact that it is such widespread appeal is kind of interesting. I think two Blueprints, there was some interesting discussion, some articles going around that I recommend looking into about how localization can sometimes play a part in this, because Blueprints is only in English right now. And so if you live in countries that don't speak English, or English is not your primary language that you want to play the game in, you may not have played that game this year, and that might have borne out in some of the votes. I could see that affecting some of the play here. And also there's just a billion freaking games to play this year. So
yeah,
of the gaming outlets on this voting jury, there's like about half of them are from the US and the UK. And then a lot of the other ones are from just countries that don't speak English, or English isn't the primary language. Like obviously you've got Australia, which they speak English, but like if you're in Brazil and you don't speak English, then like the odds of enough of them playing Blueprints to nominate it, that to me makes the most sense is why it didn't get nominated, because there's at least one puzzle I know off the top of my head that's like, I don't know how that would, like it involves English homophones, where I'm like, I don't know how you could translate that into a different language.
Thinking of the same one. Yeah. It's a difficult one to manage. And I find that really interesting because I think localization, I would love to see some follow-up data, follow-up research on this to see, like, I mean, I've always said I would love to know what some of the voting outcomes were, like how they spread out across different places to get more data out of this. Cause I do think you could pull some really interesting insights into how localization, how regional launches, how platform launches end up playing into the way that we critically come to a consensus on video games. And I don't think that is the sole reason for anything here. I definitely do think, like, despite the fact that I'm saying Death Stranding 2 is the one I'd poke holes in, I don't think it's like completely unworthy of a GOTY nomination. It is, but Blueprints I think is also in a runaway. It's in my top 3 personally. So I always find it interesting to see how this stuff comes together. I know there's reasons why some games I love, like 100 Line, are not in the GOTY category, because not all y'all are ready for that conversation. But yeah, I would love to know how some external factors that we wouldn't normally think of apply to this stuff, especially because we come to it from a perspective and we don't always have all the perspectives.
Right. So we thinking Claire wins it. If not Claire,
Probably.
what do you think could be the dark horse?
I think KCD2 is an interesting dark horse here, honestly.
Yeah.
Like
That's the one that has the most like fervor behind it. Like people that like KCD2 really like it.
Yeah, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Yes, yeah. I just like saying it that way.
Yeah, no, it does sound cool. But yeah, I would say Hades 2 feels like the one that feels like that would make the most sense of that could sneak in and surprise everybody. And
has the highest Metacritic, I think, out of all these.
Yeah.
And maybe the one that could get away with it without people being like overly upset that Claire Obscure didn't win. Like people would be mad, but go like, well, I guess I get it. You know?
Even then, though, there's I don't know how much we've talked about on the podcast. The Hades 2 ending is controversial.
It is,
specifically
yeah.
among like super giant fans. People really.
What do you mean, the old ending or the new one or whatever they did to it?
The old original ending. I have not gotten to the new one yet, so I haven't looked into it to see how it's spoiled. But I think it just adds more context around it. But
yeah, they Mass Effect 3'd it.
Oh God,
That's kind of what it sounded like when I saw the news. I was like, "Are they Mass Effect 3 this?"
I think it's interesting we're not immediately surfacing Silksong, which I don't think is incorrect. I think Silksong's in a weird place because I do think a lot of people like it, but I also feel like it's maybe not the immediate GOTY that so many people thought it was going to be, and I'm not sure why that sentiment is. It's just something I feel in my gut.
I think Silksong is, and I don't think this is a bad thing for a game to be, but I think it's a pretty inflexible game where it's like, this is the way that it is to be played, and you kind of have to match it at that level, as opposed to like, even like a Dark Souls game or like an Elden Ring. Like you can theoretically, if you're having a really hard time with a boss, you could like grind and level up a bunch and then make your life a little bit easier. Silksong is a little bit harder to do that, and so I think that it's a game that like, if it's your type of game, you'll get in it and you'll really like it. But I do think there's like a subset of journalists or other people in the voting party that like didn't really get into it. I didn't play that much of it. I got like 10-12 hours in and I was like, this
you
is
didn't
enough
play
for
that
me.
much of it, 10-12 hours.
It's a long game. There's
say,
a lot of game there.
I was gonna say the last time that there was a game that matched that description, it was called Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, and then that wound up winning GOTY that year, and a bit of an upset from what I remember.
That was a wild year. It was a really interesting year.
Another game that you pretty much have to play it its way or
very
go
much
home.
So, yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah. Overall, strong nominee list. Maybe one of the stronger ones in recent years. So yeah, I'm excited to see how that shakes out. I'm gonna go down some of them and feel free to shout out any that you have any strong feelings that you'd like to discuss. We got best game destruction, best game direction.
Eric, you had something about best game direction, right?
I the thing with game direction is I always feel like this is a weird category because it feels so directionless. It's like, I forget, they do give us a thing that says like, this is what game direction is. And I do feel like some years there's games that really stick out to me as like, this was a directed game. I would say Blueprints for me would fall under this category. I would say that.
Well, let me
Alan
read the
Wake
categories.
2
Let me read the nominees
here
real
for me.
quick.
Yeah.
So yeah, Claire Obscure, Death Stranding, Ghost of Yotei, Hades 2, Split Fiction.
Yeah, weird picks this year where it kind of felt like these were games that didn't make the GOTY cut, because like Yotei, Split Fiction are games that I immediately look at like did not make the GOTY category. And I have not played Split Fiction yet. I've played a little bit of Yotei, and I don't know what I would say in there, especially like jumps out at me as a direction versus some of the games I just said, like Alan Wake 2 or Blueprints, where it feels like there's kind of a like directorial intent being enacted, but even that is such a weird thing to express in a game versus the way that we traditionally think of it on, you know, in a movie or something like that. This feels like a movie category that is trying to be like put into a game sense, and I feel like sometimes we can kind of get like the verve of it right, and sometimes it just feels like we have a bonus GOTY category, and that's what it feels like this year to me.
I was gonna say
the description here real quick is awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. So not super helpful.
No,
that feels to Eric's sort of like film analogy, that feels like Death Stranding 2 would be lined up to take that.
Is this the auteur award at the end of the day? Maybe.
Yeah, like what is the most directed game on this list? It'd probably be that.
I do feel like Yote, like like a good game direction choice to me would be something like the God of War games having that like one shot style.
Right.
Is a thing that's like, that is like very much a movie thing, but there's a lot of coordination for that to happen and feel seamless and work out. That's one where I'm like, that was a good job that all of these different categories or departments of a game developer could come together and make this like really cool choice. I do feel like Yote, I really like Yote, so I feel like it probably should have been in that category. But from what I understand of like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, that's one I'm kind of surprised to not see here, because people found it so immersive, and that feels to me to lend to this sort of thing.
I guess like sort of like the deliberate decision to make it as harsh and unforgiving, like it is a role-playing game in the pure sense is what I hear about that game.
Sure.
I still have not played it, but it is like meant to be miserable for the first few hours, because you are like the character just kind of like trying to actually get good and not like get good in a video game kind of way.
To throw some wrenches here, I would almost say that games like Baby Steps then jump out at me as something that is like realizing a creative vision and trying to enact it, or 100 Line again, or Clover Pit, stuff like that, like something that has a real like creative concept and really just goes for it. Again, Blueprints like that. I think that, but also some of these games on here, I think Split Fiction in that sense does line up for me. I think Death Stranding would potentially line up for me, maybe not as strongly as the original Death Stranding did for me, for complex reasons we don't need to get into. But it just continues to be kind of a strange category that I never quite know what it's going to end up looking like. And I think on paper always ends up looking a little bit too similar to the GOTY nominations, which, hey, if a game has a really strong creative vision and it's exceptional and award worthy, that does then probably make it overall worthy of honors. So yeah.
So best narrative, we've got Claire Obscure, Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yote, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and Silent Hill F creeping on in there. Seeing Silent Hill F just reminds me of like me being a little bit more down on the game than most of our peers are, and I'm upset because from what I've seen and understand, to get the most out of that story, you have to replay the game over and over because things change. But the game also does not communicate that that's what you're supposed to do at all. Like, it is not a Nier Automata situation where that is clearly like built into its linear narrative, the like replaying the game over and over. Like, you finish Silent Hill and you get full credits, and then it's like, hey, New Game Plus, if you want, bye. So you think like, well, I'm done, I guess. That was it. It doesn't really, like, there's nothing in the story that sort of even nudges you towards, you might want to play this again for, plot reasons. So I'm like, I've been annoyed at it for that, because it sounds like, oh yeah, when you get to like the second, third playthrough, it really starts to cook. And it's like, I don't have time for that, and also you didn't tell me that I should do that, so why would I think to do that unless you had something? So I don't know. That's my like personal peeve with Silent Hill F.
There's an interesting like paradox with game narratives too, where it's like, like to beat a game is one thing, like just to get credits on a game is like one achievement. But there's a lot more you can do in most games than just play it through one time. And narrative can comprise of so many different elements of a game that when you're voting on something like best narrative, it's like, well, what are we counting as the narrative, and how much of that has everyone experienced? Where it's like, are we talking about multiple playthroughs? Is that what's gonna nominate for us? If it's something like a big open world game and has really good side quests, are we like, well, I hope everyone's done all the side quests so they know that this is worth nominating? Like, it's an interesting category, like some of these, where it's like, depending on how much time you've actually invested is going to determine where you evaluate it. And it's not really, like many of the categories of the Game Awards, not concretely said, this is what this is about and this is what you have to do to nominate it.
I think, again, this is a place where specificity could help, and even narrowing the bounds of the category might assist in that way. Because for context, maybe one year I did. I haven't really participated in other awards for other mediums, but I have been on the distribution lists for them. So I've seen kind of what it looks like for when distribution happens for, say, film or music or things like that, for their award shows and for their voting and things like that. And oftentimes you'll get, this has become more common in games recently, but a for-your consideration mailer where they'll kind of reach out and say like, hey, we're being considered, we want to go for these categories and things like that. And in film specifically, you will get scripts, and they will say like, we are going for a writing award. Here is the script. Here is the like layout. And I think a lot of the awards there then end up pushing more towards like the very specific part of that craft that is being expressed. And I think best narrative becomes too all encompassing, because what does narrative mean in the sense? Is it the way that narrative ties into the interactivity? Again, Blueprints comes up again, or things like that, or you go to Disco Elysium and things like that, where the writing is really good, but also the way it ties into the interactivity. Citizen Sleeper kind of falls in that category too. Or is it just about like, you have really good words on the page, which I do think like a KCD2 fits here, or even, like a Clair Obscur, or
a Death Stranding, probably.
I shoot a Dispatch would kind of fit interestingly here. That's up for debate. I know some people don't like
Yeah, Dispatch just kind of suffers from like, it wasn't done by the time voting happened. So I think it would 100% qualify if it had. So it's just more of a victim of circumstance than anything.
Right. And I think, again, that's why the specificity and maybe narrowing some of this criteria to be specifically about like, this is for exceptional, like this is not a best narrative, which feels a little broad. It's like best writing, best script, something like that would maybe help narrow, and maybe in the process of narrowing, help widen the potential candidates in the categories as well, because they don't feel like they're so all encompassing that something like a Clair Obscur is an auto include in every single thing.
That said, Clair Obscur has a very good narrative.
It does. It has really good writing. That opening hour is spectacular.
Yeah, best opening hour of the year. That should be a category.
Oh, that would be great.
That would be great. That's like a big determining factor for me of like,
I mean, yeah, that's important.
A lot of my favorite games have really good opening hours, and a lot of games that people say that are good that I've never actually played don't have very good opening hours.
Baldur's Gate 3, previous award winner, has like a spectacular opening, one that like I'd still cite as like one of the best ways to open an RPG ever.
I also really love God of War 2018. That has a really good opening hour.
God of War 3, where you fight Poseidon from right off the bat, that incredible Poseidon fight.
Good stuff.
Good stuff. All right, best art direction. We got Clair Obscur, Death Stranding, Ghost of Yotei, Hades 2, and Hollow Knight Silksong. I am shocked that neither South of Midnight nor Keeper cracked the list. I was very surprised to see both of those apps, and I think those are two of the strongest art directions of the year. That's my sour grapes, I guess. I don't know.
I'm curious how something like South of Midnight did overseas also, where if we're also pretty warm on it, the GI staff, at least like me, Marcus, and Wes, we all have like a soft spot for it.
Yeah, as the game as a whole, you mean, not just the art direction,
But yeah, also the art direction. But yeah, I just wonder who played it, who liked it.
I also just look at this and I see a bunch of games that I do agree have really good art styles, but not entirely new art styles, like Death Stranding 2, Hades 2, Ghost of Yotei, Hollow Knight, Silksong are all sequels
All
that very
sequels,
much take after their predecessors. And I'm like, yeah, like Hades 1, Hollow Knight, Ghost of Tsushima, and Death Stranding all had incredible art, and they did more of it and in some cases better of it in their sequels. But this is, again, I think another thing we suffer from in awarding video games is sequelitis, where we're like,
Definitely.
it did thing good again. And I would love to see some more like Keeper, like something that's a little bit newer tossed into this bunch.
Yeah. Do you want to see? We're kind of in best score in music. We got Hollow Knight, Hades, Claire, Ghost of Yotei, Death Stranding. A lot of overlap in a lot of these categories for all
Usual
the GOTY
suspects.
contenders. Yeah.
Score music is an interesting category with games every year for me, because I'm like, good games often do have good music, but also I contend that it is easier is not the right word, but it's more common to find a good soundtrack on a game than to have a good game. Does that make any sense? Like the work and effort it goes into making a game good, there's a lot more moving parts. It's harder to hit versus like there's a lot of people that like went to school to be composers that wrote really good scores, and their quality of that music and the quality of a game don't necessarily always match up. So I think that like there's instances of games that are like probably not great that do have banger soundtracks, but I think people don't play them and they don't get nominated here. I don't have any examples off the top of my head
I see
here,
what you're saying.
but I'm just saying the way that this lines up with like all the best games of the year and the Game of the Year awards, where it's like those are the games everyone played and we remember liking them, so we remember their soundtracks being good. But something like South of Midnight, where I'm like, that score really stood out to me, people might not have played, so they didn't get it, as an example.
I do think there is often, again, with all of these awards, a congruity of these used music like very, very well. Clair Obscur used music really potently. Hades, of course, used music really, really well. Hollow Knight, Silksong, expressive, fantastic songs that hit at just the right moment. Like there's a part in Silksong where you're running through that field and everything kind of flutters up and there's like incredible music and swells and stuff in that moment that was like, oh, this is really, really good. And I do think there is just kind of a congruity there that when game good and you're really in the moment and then the music hits just right, it does elevate it just that little bit. Whereas if game bad, but music is still banging, like it can kind of get over sometimes, but usually those two need to be in concert for it to ultimately end up in this category. Yeah.
It hurts my heart that South of Midnight, again, incredible soundtrack.
Also,
Yes.
Deltarune is one that's like
Deltarune, yeah, it was
Toby
never going to
Fox.
make it because the weird chapter situation and all that. But Third Sanctuary is a straight up banger.
I'm going to jump to best performance as presented by Clair Obscur Expedition 33. As the nominees are from that game. But we have Ben Starr as Verso in Claire. We got Charlie Cox as Gustav from Claire. We got Jennifer English as Mael from Claire. And then we got Erika Ishii as Atsu from Ghost of Yotei. We got Kanatsu Kato as Shimizu Hinako from Silent Hill. And then coming in from running from the crowd
From the top rope.
they hit his music. Troy Baker as Indiana Jones and Indiana Jones in a Great Circle, which I'd forgotten that game technically qualifies for this game for this year. And it's unfortunate because I reviewed Indiana Jones and I think it's great. And he definitely deserves it because his Harrison Ford, he might deserve to win because he had the tallest task of anyone on this list of trying to sound not only like Harrison Ford, but prime Harrison Ford. And my God, does he pull it off? Because I said in my review, if you did not tell me that was Troy Baker, I might have assumed some AI trickery. Like his performance is that good.
I think Erika Ishii is probably my front runner for this category, with possibly Kanatsu Kato as the runner up. But I know that's going to sound weird that I'm not saying any Claire names, but I do think that maybe Jennifer English as Mael is maybe my standout from Claire. I do think everybody put in incredible work on that cast, but I think if I'm talking about like a singular performance, I lean more towards especially the experiences that really focused on those characters and put them front forward. So I could see Troy Baker taking it because that was that's an indie game. It's all about indie. And so if he nails it, then it's going to like emphasize it that much more.
Yeah, his performance makes or breaks that game. Because if I cannot buy him as Indiana Jones, then that cripples the whole experience.
Right.
I do also want to say that this is an interesting case of 6 nominees again.
Well, we had 3 from
like,
Claire, so we had to fill it out a bit, you know.
I'm just looking at these past years because I have a whole tab group of all the past best performances. Okay, 2023 had 6. Okay.
But other categories in here, like when we get to best debut,
2024
indie,
had five nominees. Like it's like a flexible category. I wonder why. If he just like,
I mean, I guess it varies. Like maybe some years are stronger for performances than others. So.
Or there's like, I don't know. I would love to ask Geoff about this, but I could see a situation where maybe like some are so close together that they say like, well, okay, we'll just expand it by 1 to accommodate rather than having to go through the, Yeah, and
I think it's tricky too. Like we're seeing with Claire, where some games are just so like are chock full of great performances that it's hard to just pick one. Like it would be hard to just pick one from Claire.
No nomination for Lune or CL though, who I do think jump out at me more than Charlie Cox does here. And that's kind of a bummer.
You just don't like Daredevil is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Start calling you Wilson Fisk.
Wow. He's wearing
Shave
white.
my head right now. It's about the Mets. Let's go Mets.
All right. Best indie game. We've got Absalom, Ball Pit, Blueprints, Claire Obscure Expedition 33, Hades 2, Hollow Knight Silk Song. Do we want to address the Claire elephant?
Yeah, I mean, there's every year we go through the same discourse, which is what is an indie? And we talk about whether being published by a publisher with X number of dollars backing or Y number of developers involved in the development and how they're involved in the development versus not. And we go through it all the time. And you could really go through here and nitpick every single one of them. Like, is this does a Devolver published game count as an indie game? Does a Kepler published game count as an indie game?
An Annapurna game.
Is Hades 2 an indie game because Hades 1 was too successful and that
Hades
like
2,
I've seen arguments for that and it's weird.
That makes less sense. Like Hades 2 is actually published by Supergiant, so they 100%.
I agree. I think Hades fits here, but I've seen some people be like, well, Hades 1 was like everybody knows Supergiant. I'm like,
that's not what that's about, but okay.
But I use the example to stress how silly this gets every year. I would nitpick Claire Obscure specifically, which would probably then nitpick some of the other ones here as well, in just that there is like a decent amount of funding that maybe other games did not see here. But I think the rot runs deeper in that I think there's just kind of, as we go through these categories, a repetition of the same game names and not enough ways to kind of highlight stuff. And I know we've introduced, I say like the Game Awards has introduced stuff like Games for Impact to try and surface stuff, but then ultimately it ends up feeling like a category that is like, well, here's the indie game category. Here's the one where we bar Claire Obscure theoretically, but not this year, but where we bar like a God of War from competing so that we can let some other indies in. And I think that feels kind of defeating because I think the subtext there is like, is an indie not able to compete in game of the year? Is an indie not seen as viable by the broader consensus as a potential competitor for game of the year? And that's where I get frustrated because again, like there are games like Outer Wilds that have been beloved ever since they came out, but were not in the running at the time, and I wonder how much perception affects that. So yeah.
So we have best debut indie. Currently has Blueprints, Claire Obscure, Dispelote, and Dispatch. The story with this one is that it also included Megabonk, which is one of the kind of like new sort of like viral hits, the 3D kind of Vampire Survivors game that came out back in September. But not too like a day after the nominations came out, the solo developer behind Megabonk went on Twitter and withdrew themselves from the nomination because they said, well, it's actually not my debut. I've released other games under different developer names, so I don't, this doesn't feel right for me to be here, basically. Which
is weird because first of all, Dispatch, we should mention, is here. But also like that team, Claire Obscure, have developers on. I think Blueprints, those developers might have made other games previously too. I can't think of them offhand, but I want to say that Blueprints might not be their first game.
That's the thing. It's like when you look at the definition of this award, it's like nobody almost would it for the most part. It's like
it's local thunk and concerned ape, and that's about it.
Yeah, it's like I always assumed best debut ND was the first game put out by a developer team, regardless of the experience of the developers. If this is your first game as a team, as this specific collection of developers, then that is your debut technically. That's how I always read it.
The way it's seen in music is that it's your debut. It's you hitting the scene. It's like you broke like a breakthrough award might be a better expression of that, because I think it was a few years ago that Bon Iver was nominated for like a best debut album under the self-titled for Bon Iver, but like Bon Iver had done music before that. It's just like that was the thing that broke through. This was like the debut onto the grander stage. And I know that's like kind of a weird way to acknowledge it, but it also does acknowledge that a lot of people do make games that don't get critical awards, and they're not part of like the mainstream consciousness yet. And this does open a spot for them to be like, oh, you broke through. You've kind of, garnered the public's perception, and we want to like acknowledge that. But yeah, I don't know. It's another funky category.
Yeah, it's weird.
Alrighty, I'm gonna speed through some of these. Feel free to shout out any that you'd like to comment on. We got Games for Impact, Consume Me, Dispolote, Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, and I just realized I put 3 O's in Blooms. I need to fix that. South of Midnight and Wander Stop. We got Best Action, Battlefield 6, Doom: The Dark Ages, Hades 2, Ninja Gaiden 4, and Shinobi Art of Vengeance. Best Action / Adventure Game. We got Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotei, Hollow Knight, Indiana Jones and a Great Circle, and Split Fiction. Your category, Eric, Best RPG, Avowed, Claire Obscure, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Monster Hunter Wilds, and The Outer Worlds 2. You're making a face.
Why do we have to do this every year? Like, I'm not saying that any of these games are not RPGs. I would even argue that Monster Hunter Wilds does fit into the category definition of an RPG in a loose sense. But like Trails in the Sky First Chapter came out this year. The 100 Line came out this year. Like, why do we have to do it like this? We really don't need to do this. If you listening to this are like, I didn't play a lot of RPGs this year or whatever, go play Trails in the Sky First Chapter and have a really good time. It's a wonderful time. You're going to really enjoy it. It's a cozy story about a coming of age tale, and with some surprising twists and turns along the way. It's very silly, but it's fun. It's like Hunter x Hunter. It's like the closest thing I can imagine to a Hunter x Hunter RPG, where you're following like Gon, or in this case Estelle Bright, through adventures and stuff. It's great. It's a really good time. Like I think it's weird, and I'm not just trying to dump specifically on like Monster Hunter Wilds, but I do think it's weird to say, like, if I asked you right now, what's the best RPG of the year? How many games would you get through before you got to Monster Hunter Wilds? Because I think it's more than 5.
It's also like, how the categories like action game, action adventure, and role playing game. Like some of these, like Monster Hunter Wilds, like I feel like you could argue was action or action adventure. Like I feel like a lot of these could fit in different slots if we're trying to be really flexible about them, versus like there are games where it's like the purpose of a category word like this, what I'm getting at is like, get the game that only fits in that category because we want it to be recognized outside of other things. And it is interesting that all of these RPGs outside of like Claire Obscure are all like more or less action-y type games, and we don't have a lot of like slower stuff. I will say that action game does seem to kind of exist to put a place there for shooters, because there is no best shooter category, which is also interesting. That it's like, what's better, Hades 2 or Battlefield 6? Like weird
question we've been asking.
If I could sit down, I don't know if Keighley's ever spoken to that, but I would be really curious why like we have gone this long like saying that like shooters go into action and they don't have their own, because I do think it's then really hard to say like, yeah, is Battlefield 6 a better action game than Ninja Gaiden 4? Like, how do you begin to gauge that? I don't know. So
Yeah, well, I was let down by Ninja Gaiden 4 shooting mechanics, so I don't think it should win.
Yeah, the reload animations just weren't there.
Yeah.
Literally.
Best sim strategy, we got The Alters, Final Fantasy Tactics, The Evil East Chronicles, Jurassic World Evolution 3, Sid Meier's Civilization 7, Tempest Rising, and 2 Point Museum.
Another sixer.
Yeah, it feels like RPG should have gotten a sixer, just kind of for the reasons
Yeah.
we just outlined, just to at least get one more in there, like 100 line perhaps.
I don't think realistically that either of the games I mentioned would have made it, because getting people to play those games has been like pulling teeth. So,
even giving you the pity 6 slot wouldn't be enough.
Eric,
No.
I did play. I don't
you
know how
tried
many hours
100
in.
line.
I tried 100 line. I got
no bite it. Yeah,
he got 3 lines in. He didn't make it the full
What?
100.
I was like on. I didn't make it to like day 20, but I was on like day 15 or 16, and
Ooh,
the part that I was like, I can't do this anymore is there's one character that's like, every time I go into battle, I just want to throw up, and you're like, I know.
Oh yeah,
I'll
yeah,
build
yeah.
her a bag that she can throw up in, and then she won't feel so bad about throwing up because she'll have a bag for it.
Yeah, she'll be puking in her
And I'm just
car.
like-
It's fine.
It was truly enough that I'm like, what is what is
He's
this
been like
game?
the
What was
response to her plight.
I was
when
waiting
I-
too much for the. I really love a murder mystery, and I was really waiting for a thing of it's like what happened here, and I felt like I'm just getting like teased too much with like a greater mystery, and then it's pulling back and making me do all this like nonsense as it's leading up, and it was like one too many times that like one night instead of booting up 100 line, I booted up Hades 2 again, and then I just like did not go back.
I love 100 line. It is absolutely, for those who don't know, very brief explanation is that it is Kodaka, who made the Danganronpa series, and Uchikoshi, who made the Nonary games, Zero Escape series, like came together to work on what is kind of like their ultimate just swing for the fences game. And it is half adventure game with branching timelines and different paths, and half tactics game. It is expressly made for people who hear that and go, yeah. But it has a lot of the writing tendencies, good and bad, of both those writers. And I think especially with some of Kodaka's writing, loves like a real messy character that's just like, I don't use this word lightly, will make you cringe. Well, like there are a few characters, like one of my favorites of the year, like literally my favorite character of one of my favorite characters of the year is Darumi from that game. And she is like the hot topic girl who will not shut up about the edgy anime that she just watched. And I love her for that. She's great for that. But you have to like be okay with getting like 30 hours of all those characters and they're kind of like trope fields before they start to do interesting things and take them interesting places and do interesting stuff with them. And so I knew, like I said, going in, that selling that game as one of the GOTY contenders, even though I personally think it is, it's a hard sell because you got to get through a lot to really start to see what is there. And so I was like, I'll fight my battles where I got to fight my battles, but I don't think this is the one where I'm going to draw a line in the sand.
I'm going to jump to just a couple more before we get to our next segment, but we got best multiplayer. You got Arc Raiders, Battlefield 6, Elden Ring, Night Rain, Peak, and Split Fiction.
Surprised to not see more Peak. I think that's the
Oh,
only
like
Yeah.
in
one
general.
that's on here.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think it
guess
came
so.
and went is the thing. I think a best multiplayer is the best spot for it, even though it's going to have some stiff competition there.
Yeah. You got Best Family Game, got DK Bonanza, Lego Party, Lego Voyagers, Mario Kart World, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, and Split Fiction.
Shouts
got-
to Lego Party in that
Shout out to
category.
Lego
Great game.
Best Adaptation, a Minecraft movie, Devil May Cry, Splinter Cell, Death Watch, which, by the way, I had no idea that existed until I saw it. I was like,
I
what?
didn't know it
There's a
came
Splinter
out,
Cell
yeah.
show? The Last of Us Season 2, and Until Dawn.
It's crazy that Minecraft movie's probably going to win this.
It really is.
And it
I-
should it? Like, do people like it, kinda, right? Like, people don't like hate that movie from what
Chicken jockey.
I've never seen
I
it.
don't know.
Chicken
man.
jockey. Yeah.
There's gonna be a chicken jockey bit at the award show, isn't
Oh
there?
my God. Is Jack
Oh,
Black
God,
gonna
they're
be
gonna
there?
bring Jack Black out. He's gonna like look out over the crowd. He's gonna pause for a dramatic effect and be like, chicken jockey, and then everyone's gonna be like, yeah, he said the thing, and and then he might as well just say 6-7 after it, and yeah.
Honestly, which out of pocket celebrity you guys think is going to show up this year? Game Awards.
Out of pocket. So Jack Black's not out of pocket. He would go for free.
He fits. Al Pacino.
Al
would be
Pacino was
crazy.
last year, right?
Oh no, Al Pacino was last year.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it'd
It'd be crazy if they brought him back.
Did Snoop Dogg perform last year? Am I remembering
He's
that
been there
right?
before.
Because his album came out, but also he founded a game company with his son.
Oh God, that sounds vaguely familiar. I feel like I should remember that because that's such a weird sentence.
I remember
you just said.
I wasn't working. I remember not writing it up, so I think it was last year during the blip where Game Informer wasn't around.
Maybe not out of pocket, but in terms of somebody you kind of tilt your head and go, huh. I don't know why he's on my mind, but Glenn Powell.
That'd be
Sure.
kind of sick. That'd be
Grateful.
kind of sick.
Glenn Powell just
Grateful.
walks out and goes, "Hey, I did a Running Man remake recently.
Yeah,
you should
yeah.
show up with that Cheshire grin of his."
I would be into that. I'm a Glenn Powell fan. That band
Cool guy.
makes dad movies, and I'd support him in his endeavors. Yeah, I like a Walton Goggins probably shows up here, or an Ella Purnell, someone
But
from
that would make
Fallout.
sense though.
Yeah,
you wouldn't bat an eyelid at that at this point.
Well,
if
it would be Jason Statham is gonna appear in Fallout Season 2, and we didn't know, and then he'll come out on stage. and
That'd
he's
be sick.
I'm
Yeah.
here to present best debut indie game. That's my
pretty
Jason
good.
Statham.
That's a really good Ben Starr as Clive that you did for Jason Statham.
What is the tagline of that game? The crystals will no longer have power over us, or something like that.
for 16, Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's probably something like that.
I can't remember. It's this is the end of the crystals.
The
No,
age
that's
of
not it.
crystals.
I need to keep swinging my sword, or my heart will explode.
I think Ryan Coogler appears on stage to say, "Hey,
Ooh.
me and Michael B. Jordan are working with Kojima on a game," because that's what he does now. He works with famous
Yeah.
filmmakers that are doing really well.
He's doing
he's adding
Jordan
him to his
Peele and Ryan Coogler separately.
Yeah, he's
I
already
love
got
that.
Guillermo del Toro, so he's now collecting successful directors.
That's not a bad called shot. I could see that.
Yeah,
that's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, just riding the Sinner's train, which I saw finally recently, by the way.
Good
Oh,
movie.
yay.
Good movie.
You said it on
Phenomenal movie.
Halloween,
Loved
was
it.
that right?
Actually, I waited too long. I saw it on the flight back from
okay.
the Neo 3 trip I just went on. So yeah, I watched it on the plane. But it was great. Loved it. Last category, most anticipated. The one we care about the least and always wonder why it's here and what anyone gets out of it.
You don't want to talk about best esports game? You don't want to sit here and discuss that?
So most anticipated, we've got 007 First Light, Grand Theft Auto 6, Marvel's Wolverine, Resident Evil Requiem, and The Witcher 4. It's really kind of them to include 4 other games and pretend Grand Theft Auto 6 is
Yeah.
in any danger of losing this. But it's nice to acknowledge that there are other games happening.
Has it won that category?
It's
Previously?
probably won it every year since it's been announced.
I thought Witcher 4 won last year, but maybe I'm misremembering that.
Nah,
No,
GTA
Witcher
was
4 was
last
announced
year.
last year, wasn't it? Yeah.
I was
that's
like,
probably
until
what I
the
remember.
game comes out, it will always win this
Yeah.
category.
I don't know. I'm sure Grand Theft Auto 6 will be a video game, but it's one of those games that I look at and I'm like, it was Cyberpunk was the same way, where I'm like, people are imagining what the video game is for so long that it can't do anything but at least slightly disappoint them once it's tangible and you can put bounds around it, and it can't be the limitless everything that you imagine in your mind. I don't know, man.
Guys,
I do think,
live in
I'm not
Florida.
even-
It's not the Candyland you think it is. Okay,
We've
I've
not
been living
made
Grand
the
Theft Auto 6
holodeck
my
yet.
whole life.
Yeah.
I'm not even anticipating it in I can't wait to play it. I'm anticipating in I can't wait to see what happens. I can't wait to see what happens to the world.
You want to see what
when
it
that
does
comes
to the
out.
world.
Yeah,
I
just
can't wait to see how
the way
dated
that
it feels.
every gaming site is gonna quietly shut down and be oh god, we have to, all we can do is play GTA 6 because we got to get this up by embargo.
We have
Twitch
to
is
become
just
GTA
gonna be that.
6 websites. For
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
6
gonna be
months.
the
Yeah.
discourse is gonna be insufferable, and it's just gonna be like it's the only thing that's gonna matter for 2 weeks minimum, and then just for the rest of the year, just random GTA 6 controversies and stuff. That's like the thing I'm anticipating. I anticipate GTA 6 the way I anticipate a presidential election.
Yeah,
where I'm like, it's like I'm not even that I'm excited for it. I just know it's going to be a huge deal, and I want to see what happens when that clock strikes.
This is terrible for our country, but
tremendous content.
Yeah, I'm excited for how much is going to suck to have to cram that game because it comes out so close to end of year discussions, and it's going to hold up everything because we have to consider it. But yeah, everyone, that is the Game Award nominees. You can visit GameInformer.com if you want to see the full list of nominees. Like I said, it's airing December 11th. We will see how it shakes out. But Charles, before we get out of here, you have prepared a special game for us.
I have, and that game is called GI Oughta Know.
GI Oughta Know.
There we go. And I'll write that. You can get that timestamp, Eric.
Oh, I'm don't worry. I got my own method.
Okay.
We're good.
Cool. Yes, GI Oughta Know, a new game show I invented, and it's trivia for this time. Marcus suggested we should do one about the Game Awards, so I've got that pulled up here. I'm gonna tally both of your scores.
Yeah, I guess it's just Eric and I facing off.
A 1v1 once again.
Gentleman's handshake.
Now, Marcus, you should know I'm really stupid. So this is why this might be a tee up for you or a crushing defeat if you lose to me.
I was going to say, that's an interesting threat to say to someone.
We're going to start out pretty light and easy. We've discussed some of these answers. You're already going to know them. I'll also say, like, you can talk your thought process out loud. You're allowed to have the same answer. You're just competing with each other. Kyle last time was like, well, Marcus did this, so I'm going to do something else. Or maybe Marcus did that. I don't know.
No, it was Kyle. Don't put that on me.
Okay. I was like, it seemed weird where he's like, I'll do something else just for fun. It's like, well, you've lost that point, even though I think you knew what the answer was.
No, so we're playing. This is a competition here. I'm a competitive gamer. A stupid competitive gamer.
All right. So starting off, this is just me about the Game Awards in general. This year, what is the game that set a record for the most nominations for a single game?
Clair Obscur Expedition 33.
Yes, I'll say Clair Obscur. Too bad it couldn't get to 33 nominations.
That's really be nice. Yes, you're both correct. Clair Obscur.
Yeah.
Next question. Which game held that title beforehand? So Clair Obscur had 12 nominations for different game awards. There is a game that had 11 nominations.
I'm going to say Red Dead Redemption 2.
I'm going to say God of War Ragnarok.
Are these both of your final answers?
Yes.
Yes.
Eric is correct.
Yeah, let's
Ragnarok
go.
had 11 nominations.
Wow.
I have a huge Google Chrome window with just all of the different years. I'm going to see how many nominations Red Dead got. Red Dead got 8.
Okay.
So God of War had just a few more categories. Next up, which of the following games was not nominated for Game of the Year this year? Got Death Stranding 2 on the beach, Ghost of Yote, Hades 2, or Clair Obscur Expedition 33. The question was, which of these games was not nominated for Game of the Year this year?
I'll say that Yote.
You are both correct.
It's a ghost.
Despite being nominated for many things, was not nominated for Game of the Year.
Curious.
We were talking about the number of nominations games had in the past, and it was interesting. I think Red Dead might have competed because there used to be fewer categories. We've had more categories as the years have gone on. First little quiz. This isn't like a full question, but do you guys know the first year that the Game Awards was held?
So this is tricky because are we talking about the Game Awards in its current iteration? Because there were the Spike Video Game Awards.
We're talking about Geoff Keighley's Game Awards.
Okay. I believe 2014.
I think 2011 was the first one.
You guys have different answers here. I'm gonna ask you guys. You come to a consensus. Do you want this to be worth a point? One of you will get a point. One of you will not.
Yeah, it should be worth a point
because I'm losing.
Okay. Marcus is correct. It was 2014.
You know, I remember
2014 was
that because
first year.
2013 was the year of the ill-fated VGX, that weird like studio show he did with Joel McHale that everyone hated. Like,
Yes.
that
We
was
need to
the-
go back to that. I don't know. Like, there's probably some bad baggage with it, but like there was something about the tension in the studio that was
I
really
rewatched it with MinMax when they did
Yeah.
a rewatch of it. That had been the first time I watched it since it aired live, and it's weird how much it feels like it happened in the pandemic because of how empty and sparse everything is. Like, it feels like something that was slapped together as an emergency of like, oh crap, we can't do an arena, we gotta do this somewhere, get Joel McHale in here.
yeah, get somebody who will accept a check for this and
No
get
one's
them in the
around
studio.
to laugh at Joel's often like missed jokes. It is just Keighley's awkward
and he has
reactions.
Joel has such like a mean-spirited vibe through that whole presentation too.
does.
That's
There's-
like he's
the
there for if your boyfriend made you watch the show with him. You can laugh at Joel McHale's jokes. You're like, yeah, these freaking nerds. I don't know what they're talking about. I'm glad there's someone like me.
I
The bit
joked
that-
that was like he was for my dad, like who has to sit there and watch as like me and my siblings were watching that at the time, and it's like he's making a bunch of just jokes. And my dad, who is also a video game player, was like, haha, that's funny. And I'm like, yeah, it is kind of funny.
The bit that lives rent free in my head, and I know we're going on a tangent, but the interaction he has with Tim Schafer, where he asks if Tim Schafer's on drugs because of like he's pitching Broken Age, and he's just talking about how trippy the visuals are, and he's like, how many drugs were you on? And poor Tim Schafer, who's like a funny guy himself, he does like the kind of like uncomfortable laugh where he's just like but no, seriously, and he just gets back to trying to explain the game, and it is so like it hurts me to watch it.
Well, in 2014, Geoff Keighley's Game Awards had 21 categories. We currently have 30 categories. Which of the following categories did not exist in 2014? So one of these is made up. The other three are real. You have A, Best Online Experience. B, Trending Gamer. C, Best Epic Moment. Or D, Best Fan Creation. To go through these
I'm gonna
again,
say-
one of these is fake. We've got Best Online Experience, Trending Gamer, Best Epic Moment, and Best Fan Creation.
What didn't exist in 2014 is the question.
I'm gonna say C. My answer is C.
What was C?
C was Best Epic Moment.
No, that sounds like a 2013 thing. That sounds like that would have happened back then. I'm gonna say Trending Gamer. I don't know if we were there yet, like using that as a metric yet. I'm gonna say trending.
Final answers? Yes? Okay, I'll just assume final answer.
Okay.
Eric is correct. Best Epic Moment. I made that up.
Good job. That sounds like an early 2010s. Like
Thank
that's when
you.
that was a thing of like epic moment.
No,
The nominees-
Trending Gamer I knew was real because that's the cursed category. That has never not been a cursed category.
It's pretty cursed. The nominees for Trending Gamer in 2014 were Stampy Longhead, PewDiePie, Jeff Gerstmann, Vanoss Gaming, and Total Biscuit.
Jeff
Total
Gerstmann?
Biscuit took the award.
So just like Jeff Gerstmann by himself as part of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
yeah. Okay, interesting.
What was the first one? Stampy.
Stampy
Stampy
Longhead?
Lampy.
Yeah, Stampy Longhead.
Sure.
Yeah, great.
Skippy
Trending
Longstocking.
Gamer.
Me watching Jurassic Park for the first time, getting really excited when the Brachiosaurus
That
shows
was,
up.
that was my least favorite Land Before Time character, Stampy
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, coming back to or this is just of all the Game Awards. Best Performance is a category given to an actor doing a performance in a game. There are many. There's video games kind of notorious for having like a cluster of video game actors that appear a lot of times in a lot of different games. So some actors have multiple nominations for best performance over the year, including 2025. Which actor has the most nominations for best performance?
Ooh, so like cumulative.
Across all the years.
Troy Baker sounds safe.
I think Troy Baker sounds too safe, so I'm gonna say Laura Bailey.
That I think that's pretty safe too.
That's safe-ish, but not as like I feel like Troy Baker in my head is like screaming like that's the guy. But I'm worried that that's me just, seeing Troy Baker every year at Game Awards and being like, oh, he's here again. I'm going to take Laura Bailey.
Yeah, sometimes the simplest answer is the right one. Akeham's razor. I'm going to say Troy Baker.
Final answers. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're both incorrect, unfortunately.
Oh.
Troy Baker does have 3 nominations for Best Performance.
That's actually less than I thought.
He's tied with Laura Bailey for 3. But the winner in terms of nominations is Ashley Birch. She's been nominated 4 times.
Oh. Good for Ashley Birch.
We got Aloy twice.
Uh-huh.
Trying to find the other ones.
Tiny Tina in there.
Did Tiny that'd be wild. Not that Tiny Tina's not
Chloe
deserving,
from
but I
Life
wouldn't
is
think of that one.
Strange.
I forgot that she plays Chloe.
Yeah. Okay.
I totally forgot about it. Yeah.
I'm trying to find the other one, but
It's got to be Tiny Tina.
It's really funny that we both picked one that was like tied for
It's like we canceled each other out.
Incredible. Yeah.
I can't find it. I want to say you're right. I want to say it was Tiny Tina.
In like Wonderlands or something like that.
Yeah, there's too many Borderlands games.
Oh no, it was
Tina.
Parvati from Outer Worlds.
Oh, I didn't know she played Parvati. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, that's better.
Now it's funny because I had Troy Baker and Laura Bailey written down because I assumed it was one of those. Ashley Birch ended up taking it. Despite having 10 nominations between the 3 of them, only one of them has won the award 1 time. So of those 10 nominations, only 1 resulted in a win. Who won it and when?
And when? Do we have to get both right?
You got to give me the role that they won for this.
Just the role doesn't matter. So
jeez.
it doesn't even matter if it's the game, the right game. If it's, oh man, okay. I'm gonna say, again, this might be the safe answer, but I want to say Troy for Joel.
That's my yeah. Troy Baker for Joel in The Last of Us 1.
Do I have to guess the game? Can I just say the character? Or do I have to say
you can just say the character. Though I will say Last of Us 1 2013, right?
Yeah,
So that was before Geoff Keighley's Game Awards.
sure. So it'd be Last of Us 2.
Shoot. Okay, maybe that changes my
I mean,
just
unless
to
that
clarify.
matters. I don't know if that matters. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But
I am like, because I'm thinking through in my head like what roles, because I have roles that I associate with these actors, and I don't know that they would have been award-winning roles is the problem. Because Laura Bailey was Kaine in Nier, right? That's the one I think of.
Laura Bailey has so many. I can't even pluck one. But I am going back on my Joel. I'm gonna say Ashley Birch as Parvati. I think 2019, because 2019 was Outer Worlds. That might have been a weaker year for performances, and she great as Parvati. That might have been enough to clinch it. That's my Hail Mary.
I'm gonna say Ashley Birch, but I'm gonna say Ashley Birch for Horizon Zero Dawn. Because I'm trying to think of performances from that year that I would have put forward, and I'm coming up short.
I was like, 2017, famously stacked year, but was it stacked for
year
performances?
For games, but not necessarily for like Legend of Zelda ain't gonna take any performance awards unless Zelda got in there, but like Link ain't getting an award. So
we got from Eric. We've got who did you say, Eric? Sorry,
I said Ashley Birch for Aloy for Horizon Zero Dawn.
And then I said Ashley Birch for Parvati from the Outer Worlds.
Got awesome. Both incorrect. It was
Damn it,
Laura
Ashley!
Bailey for Abby in Last of Us Part 2.
Right.
We were on the
You
Last
guys
of
were
Us
really close
train.
and then swerved out of the way. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
In both those years you mentioned, so 2017, Senua, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice came out. And that was the winner of that game.
okay. Yeah.
Sure.
And
I'm
in
double checking now to be
2019, Mads Mikkelsen won for Death Stranding.
Questionable.
Oh yeah, he was pretty good in that.
I mean, he is, but he's not in that game a ton. But But
Okay,
whatever.
Laura Bailey was Kaine. I thought I was right about that.
All right, next up, which game got the most Best Performance nominations in a single year?
Man, it might be
Including
Claire
this year?
Obscure. It might be Claire Obscure, honestly. I'm
Including
trying to think.
Are we
this
including this year?
It's the most that I can think of in a while. Maybe Baldur's Gate?
I was just thinking about Baldur's Gate. I am going to say The Last of Us Part 2.
Oh, that's those are three powerhouses, Last of Us, Claire.
I
and Baldur's
think
Gate.
there might be.
I'm gonna say Claire. I'm gonna
I
stick
think
with
there
Claire.
might be enough for that. Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with Claire.
Eric, where are you going?
Last of Us Part 2. Final
Last Part
answer.
2. Marcus is correct.
Oh,
It is a
finally.
tie between Claire Obscure and Uncharted 4, interestingly enough.
Okay.
They both
Yeah.
had
All right.
Give a point to Marcus. You guys are tied 4-4.
This is competitive. This is good.
See, I thought you said you were dumb, Eric.
Yeah, I only have 4 points.
All right, next one. We've got interesting things of correlations between games winning multiple categories. How many times across the, there's been 10, 11 Game Awards that have finished? Because we had 2014 to 2024. Is that 11? Is that crazy?
Was there a year where it didn't finish? I want to watch that one where it was interrupted and
Okay, yeah, 11. We've had 11 Game Awards so far. How many times has the Game of the Year also won Best Narrative?
how many times?
You don't have to name the
Interesting.
game. If you can, I'll give you a bonus point. But how many times has it won?
In the years where it did win Best Narrative as well as that. Okay.
I'm saying you can guess a number, however many it is.
Will that affect whether we were correct in the first place or not? Like if I say 3 and then I name 2 years where I think it happened, can that just be like bonus points on top of it?
Everyone
Okay, cool.
correct that you name, I'll give you a bonus point for.
I'm gonna say I'm not supposed to say it again. I'm just gonna guess the number of times.
Yeah, I'm going to guess the number first, and I will say out of the 11 years, I think a game won Game of the Year and Best Narrative 5 times.
Wow. That's okay.
Not the majority, but I do think it's happened pretty often.
I'm going through trying to remember the previous GOTYs as best as I can. I'm gonna say it's happened. I'm gonna say it's happened 4 times.
Price is righted me.
Do you guys have any guesses for years that it happened?
I think it happened in the Baldur's Gate 3 year. I think it happened. Yeah, I think it happened
23
in.
was Baldur's
Yeah,
Gate.
that was 23.
I'm gonna say 23. I'm gonna say 2020, the Last of Us year, Last of Us Part 2 year. And that's all I got. I'm gonna guess those 2 year. Out of the 4 that I named, I'm gonna say 2 of them was 2020 and 2023.
I'm gonna randomly guess 2016 as well.
Do you have a game?
I don't know what game it was, but I got to put a number out there.
I do,
just
but
so I got an even 2 guess.
I was gonna say I know what game it was.
Well, you guys, out of all of those guesses, Marcus is going to get 1 point because this has only happened 1 time with The Last of Us Part 2.
Oh, wait, do I get does the bonus count?
You get The Last of Us
You
Part
get
2
2
bonus point.
Oh,
You
yeah,
guys
yeah,
got the other one.
Yeah, you get
Yeah,
a point.
surprising incongruency between those 2 categories. I was going through to try to see. So 2023, Baldur's Gate 3 did not win Best Narrative. Alan Wake 2 did.
Oh,
well, you know,
okay.
we all know that the best stories are in bad games. We've always known that.
Wow. Okay.
2016, Uncharted 4 won Best Narrative, but Overwatch won Game of the Year.
Wow, we didn't give it to the stunning narrative of Overwatch.
That's why when you said 2016, I was like, that's the Overwatch year. I don't think you're gonna like that one.
Okay. Quote me a line from Uncharted 4. All right. Yeah. Now quote me a line from original base Overwatch. Okay. Yeah.
Did somebody say peanut butter?
Okay. Cheers, love.
Cavalry's
here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I liked Uncharted 4. I could not name a line from it.
A specific line. There's
I'm
definitely
gonna raid
scenes I
this
think of where I'm
tomb.
like, that was well performed, but I couldn't.
Yeah. All right, another version of this question. How many times has the Game of the Year also won Best Music?
Oh,
That one I think is actually pretty high.
I think I'm gonna stick to 4.
I'm going to 6. I'm bumping it up. Give me 6.
Oh, well, you know what? I'm gonna change mine to 5.
Wow. Okay.
I'm just gonna check my work real quick to make
$1.
One more dollar, please.
Legitimately though, that if you were ever on The Price is Right, that's how you should play.
Listen, I was a Price is Right kid. I know the game.
I was too. Yeah.
I wanted to spin that big wheel so bad. It looked like so much fun.
I wanted to watch that yodeling guy go off the cliff. Like I just wanted to never stop him. Send him hurtling right off. Drew Carey getting like more distressed as he's like, "You're gonna make him stop, right?" And I'm like,
I never watched the Drew Carey years. I've seen clips, but I've never seen a full episode of his run.
he did all right.
Yeah. Is he still there? Have they replaced him yet?
I don't know, actually. I haven't watched The Price is Right in probably about like 4 or 5 years at least. So
Yeah.
I don't know if he's still running it.
Yeah.
I think around, I say 4 or 5 years specifically because I think there was a stretch during the pandemic where I started watching old game shows and stuff just to feel something again. And I think Price is Right was in the rotation for that.
I think you missed a prime opportunity to rewatch the VGX.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I should have stopped watching old reruns of Jeopardy and just gone to Spike Video
Joel
Game
McHale.
Awards.
Give me your number guesses again.
I'm
6.
5. Yeah.
Your 5 year 6. Do you guys have any guesses for specific years?
I'm going to say The Last of Us 2, 2020. I'm going to say, I don't know why I'm saying it like this.
Mark's new voice is testing out.
Baldur's Gate 3. I'm going to guess that year too. I'm going to guess 2017 with Zelda, because I think Zelda won that year.
I was going to guess 2017 as well. I'm also going to guess 2018 personally.
Was 2018?
I have a gut feeling that it was probably the first God of War reboot, which had a very good soundtrack.
Yeah, Bear McCreary. Yeah, that sounds.
Yeah.
I'll co-sign on
And
that.
and I'll throw in a random 2015.
Okay. Yeah, never happened. 0 times.
So that means I won because I'm closest to 0.
Well, that's not how I was scoring it.
That's not how it works.
Yeah, surprising, never happened. Another one where I was like shocked. So let's see, going through them. You threw out a 2015 Metal Gear Solid 5 won best soundtrack. Game of the year was Witcher 3.
What was
2018
the MGS5 soundtrack?
Red Dead 2 got best music. God of War won Game of the Year.
I would say Metal Gear was every song you played on your helicopter.
I was going to say in 2015, if they were doing best soundtrack, then that makes sense. Because, I mean, you just put Maneater on the entire time and you're having a good time. But
Yeah, not the people on the ground when they hear it.
oh, here it comes.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's fun. With 3 awards won, which game series has the most best music wins? So one game series has won best music 3 separate years.
Zelda shoots to the top of my mind.
Yeah. But that makes me think it's not right.
Oh, don't go down
I
that
don't know why
train of
it
thought
does that.
again.
I don't know why my
Eric, I like
does
the
that.
way you think. I like the way
Yeah.
you're like, that's too easy.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
can't take the easy. It's just it's got to
What's
be
the
harder.
opposite of Occam's razor? It's Occam's sledgehammer. Can't be that simple.
I'm gonna go Zelda. I can't think of a better answer right now.
I'm also trying to think of games that have had 3 entries over the course of the years that the Game Awards have been happening.
I'm going like the soundtracks where that flute guy is most like he's gonna go to town. Like, I can't think of a better series than Zelda for like a good flute solo for him.
I'm gonna say Mario. Maybe a
Okay.
Mario game won 3 years, because Mario's always got a good soundtrack. I think you got Odyssey in there. Maybe Wonder snuck out a win somewhere, and there's probably some other Mario games that maybe got recognition. I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff at the wall. I'm probably gonna lose this one, but I also preface this by saying I'm stupid. So.
Final answers. We got Zelda and
Yeah.
Mario.
Yeah.
The rivals.
Both incorrect. Final
Sick.
Fantasy.
Oh,
three
that
times.
makes sense.
We
Wait,
got
Wait, which
We
Final
got
Fantasy?
Remake, Rebirth, and 16.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
I do feel ashamed as a Final Fantasy fan. Like, if there's one thing that series is most reliable for, it's the music's going to be really good.
I
If
thought
you had
of
thought of
Final
it, you would've-
Fantasy.
Yeah.
No, I thought of Final Fantasy, and in my head I was like, well, it's only 14, 15, 16. And I think only 2 of those won. And I don't think it would have been,
Didn't
I don't
consider
think
the
14 would have been
remakes.
considered in, contention. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I got
also think
Rebirth.
best music. I'm double checking here. Best music is the only game award that Rebirth won. That was the one
Yeah.
everyone was like, we agree. That's the one it got. It got a lot of nominations, but that's the only one it won.
yeah,
Um,
I'm not
all
going to
right,
fight that
next
one.
up, best family game is a category notoriously dominated by Nintendo. In fact, there have only been 3 times it didn't win the category. Name the years it happened. You'll get a point for each of them.
2019, 2015, 2016.
My God, just rattled those off. Okay.
I tried to pick years that didn't have notable Nintendo games in them.
No, fair. Okay, I'm gonna say best family game. I'm gonna say 2022. I'm gonna say 20. I'm also gonna say 2019, and then I'm gonna say 20. Actually, I'm gonna say 20. I'm gonna say 2014, 2015, and 2016. Those 3 years in a row.
Yeah, I also, because I said 2019, 2015, 2016, I also went to what's a year where a Nintendo game didn't come out, or like a notable Nintendo game didn't come out, and then pre-Switch year.
Yeah, I went like Wii U years of like
yeah, like Wii U drop off era. Yeah.
All right, final answers locked in. Are you guys
Yeah,
the same
yeah.
or are you different?
We're different.
Yeah, I
You're
think
saying
we both had
2019
2015,
still.
2016, and then you had
took off
2014, I had 2019.
and I just said
Yeah.
14, 15, 16, like 3 year streak.
Yeah, and I said 15, 16, 19.
Cool. Both completely wrong.
No points on
None
the
of
board?
those correct. I'm going to give you another shot. I expected this to happen. My hint now is that for 2 of the 3 years, the best family game also won Game of the Year.
2020. No, wait. I'm thinking in my head. I'm doing math. I'm doing the mentat thing from Dune, where I'm doing the head math.
I'm gonna say 2017. Wait, you said hold on, no, actually.
So the
no.
years, yeah, these are years
2
that
of the years they also won Game of the Year, right?
it wasn't a Nintendo game that won best family game, and the game that won best family game also won Game of the Year.
And also one game of the year. Okay, I'm gonna say 2016. Because for some reason they were like, Overwatch is a family game. I'm gonna say
I want to say, I think you already guessed
2016 was already guessed.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I did. That was part of my last.
I was gonna let Marcus
2016,
do
by
that
the way-
until you corrected him.
Pokemon Go was 2016.
a family game? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. I'm gonna say 2018, 2024, and 2022.
I'm gonna say 2020, 2021, and 2018.
Marcus, you're going to get 3 points. Getting all 3 of them. Eric, you're going to get 1 point.
I got all 3. I was
Which one
shotgunning
was
them. I didn't
which
even.
one was? It Takes Two is one of them, right?
So,
Well,
yeah.
Astrobot was last year.
Astrobot was last year.
Astrobot.
It Takes Two is 2022, and then 2018.
That was 22.
2018 Overcooked 2 won.
Yeah,
Did not win Game
I
Awards.
was just firing those
Great,
off the
great
dome.
poll, Marcus. All right, my favorite question. Geoff likes Muppets. Like, really likes Muppets. Which of the following Muppets has not appeared at the Game Awards? A. Animal. B. Bunsen Honeydew. C. Waldorf. Or D. Pepe the King Prawn.
B.
You saying Dr. Honeydew has not appeared?
Dr. Honeydew has not appeared.
That can't be. There was a Beaker bit. one
A.
year.
Animal.
You
B.
can't do
Bunsen
Beaker without
Honeydew.
Dr.
C.
Honeydew,
Waldorf.
right?
And D. Pepe the King Prawn. Which of those has not
I
appeared?
don't remember Pepe being there. I don't like how confident Eric is. He has a smug look on his face, like he knows that. I don't remember the Pepe year. I want to say. For audio listeners, Eric has a smile that is sinister, almost.
I could know, or I could know that we're like getting down there in points, and I really got to make a comeback right now.
I'm gonna say Pepe. I almost want to get on the boat with you, but I think it might be a trap.
Okay. You're both wrong. All of these Muppets have appeared at the Game Awards.
We didn't know that was an option.
When did
A trick
Bunsen Honeydew?
question?
Was he there in the Beaker year?
Yeah, he was there with the Beaker year.
Because
Like I said,
Statler,
Beaker
Waldorf,
doesn't
Pepe,
go anywhere
and
without
Animal
Doc.
were all there.
Next
I
question.
thought it was just Beaker that year.
I feel
Okay,
like there should have
okay.
been a none of the above, like an E.
Funny joke. Which of these Muppets have not appeared at the Game Awards? Beaker, Swedish Chef, Camilla the Chicken, and Statler.
B. It's the Swedish Chef.
No, I remember Swedish Chef was there. I'm pretty sure. Wait, what was C?
Camilla the Chicken.
No, the chicken usually goes with the chef. And then Statler definitely was there. And then what was the first
The
one
chicken
again?
goes with the
Beaker?
chef.
Beaker. I'm gonna say it's E. They were all there.
Marcus
Wait.
is correct.
Damn.
I was like,
These are all also
I gotta-
in there.
you don't do
I hate
Swedish Chef
playing
without the
this way.
chickens.
You can't keep going. You
why
can't
are you
give
even
me a
bringing
Monty
him?
Hall problem and then be like the goat's behind the fourth door.
Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to give you both a point here because technically the Swedish Chef was a Zoom call
Yes.
announcing that he was a playable character in Overcooked during the Game Awards.
And also, Carmilla the chicken is not a Swedish Chef associated character. That's a Gonzo associated character because Gonzo has a weird thing for chickens.
I mean, true, but I think there's skits where the chicken is with the chef enough times to where I think she's split. She's got different allegiances.
My final question, related to Muppets. There's more questions. Which Muppets have appeared at the Game Awards? A. Kermit, B. Fozzie, C. Miss Piggy, D. Gonzo.
All of the above.
Well,
Well,
I think
actually Gonzo might not have been.
it was Kermit, Fozzie, Miss Piggy, and Gonzo.
Yeah. Actually, was Gonzo there?
I think A, C, and D have appeared. I don't think Fozzie's been there.
It's Fozzie.
I'm like struggling to remember a Fozzie at the Game Awards.
I feel like I'm struggling to remember a Gonzo now. I'm gonna say Gonzo.
I'm
Even though-
actually suddenly thunderstruck by the amount of Muppets that have been at the Game Award. I know it's like a very strange thing to say, but like to have it listed out is kind of crazy.
I mean, that's one of the. It's on the bingo card of the Game Awards at this point. It's like which a Muppet
It's
will
the
appear
it's
at
the
some
free
point.
space at this point, yeah. And he
Yeah.
was in that Muppet movie too.
Wait, Geoff Keighley was in the Muppet movie?
Yeah, he was in the Haunted Mansion movie.
Wait, he was?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. The new one, I guess.
I think there was like I don't remember if it was the Game Awards or the European one, the Gamescom one, where he like one of his announcements was that he was in the Haunted Mansion.
Oh, I gotta go watch it. Just to
Okay,
find him.
refresh me. I wanted to double check my work. Which were you guys each saying did not appear?
I
I was
said-
saying Fozzie didn't appear. I think Kermit, Miss Piggy, and Gonzo have all been there.
I'm saying Gonzo did not appear.
Sorry. I might have asked that question wrong or whatever it is. One of these Muppets has appeared. The other three have not appeared.
Oh.
Then I'm changing it to Gonzo.
So
Which
we're
of these
guessing who
Muppets have appeared.
Okay.
Yeah, Gonzo appeared as my answer.
I'm going to say Fozzie's appeared.
Eric is correct. Gonzo appeared because Gonzo and Camilla the Chicken are associated.
That's what I'm telling you.
I should have stayed with
Muppets
Gonzo.
lore.
I did guess Gonzo for the other version of that question.
Yeah.
I should-
Isn't that so funny? There's so many Muppets, and it's like they're like
Kermit
you can't
hasn't
get the
been
main
there.
ones.
So he's trying.
Yeah.
I think he's trying to work his way up the ladder to get to Kermit. Like that's
Well, because
his-
once you do Kermit, like you've kind of like you've hit the peak of Muppet. I personally would
you
like to
still
see a
have-
Sam the Eagle there, but
I
or
mean,
Rolf. Can we get Rolf playing in the band? Maybe
I don't know if I like the disrespect for Scooter. I think Scooter is the real.
We need
zenith
Dr.
of
Teeth and the
Muppets.
Electric Mayhem
we
in the
got to
band.
we got to do bets on which Muppet will appear in this next one.
That'd be sick. Yeah.
All right, 2 questions left. One of them, PlayStation published game. Oh, just also to be clear, current score: Marcus 9, Eric 7.
Okay, still, we still got a game.
I could still catch up theoretically.
you could tie.
I love playing to tie.
Or
It's
no,
my
there's
favorite thing.
3 questions left. This one is a sub question. So if Eric gets all
Oh,
these
okay.
right and Marcus gets all of them wrong, Eric could come through, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. PlayStation published games have an incredible track record when it comes to Game Awards nominations. How many years since the first Game Awards have the nominees for Game of the Year not included a PlayStation published title?
How many years has that happened?
How many years has there not been any Sony Interactive Entertainment published titles in the Game Award nominees lineup?
3.
I'm gonna say.
And I'll let you. We can do bonus points again if you can guess the
like-
exact years.
Don't do it, Eric.
I mean, they're just bonus points. I don't lose points, right?
Mark's like, don't even
I don't
try
want you
it,
to potentially
sicko."
gain more points. Stop
I will-
trying.
I'm saying 3. You can do your year, and then I'll guess some years.
A Sony published game was not. That's oof. Okay. Sony published first party, excluding third party. Get them out of there. So remake would not count because that is not their game. Final Fantasy VII remake is what I'm saying. So all
The
Final
Last of Us
Fantasies would be
remake.
excluded. I'm gonna say 4. I don't think I could guess the year, so I'm gonna.
All right. I'm going to say 2019, 2022, and 2015.
Wait, I lied. I'm gonna guess.
What are you gonna guess, Marcus?
I'll go 2019, 2016. Actually, no, scratch 2016. I just remembered one. Let's stick with 2019. I'm going to do 2021. Yeah, 2021. And I'm going to stop there.
Okay. No points, unfortunately. There's only 1 year that a Sony not published game has not made it, and that's 2014.
God.
Famously,
oh, wait. Was that was
famously
the.
rough year.
Dang it.
That
I was thinking in my head, I was like, "Is the Dragon Age year, wasn't it? Wasn't the Dragon Age
Yeah.
year 2014?"
That was when it came down by and large to Dragon Age and Middle Earth, the Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah. I was thinking that was 2015 in my head. Dang it.
Of the remaining 10 years, we've had at least one PlayStation published game nominated for Game of the Year every single one of those years. How many of those games won Game of the Year?
Wait, say it again.
So of these there's 10 years remaining. So 2014, there was no PlayStation published game. Every year since then, a big first party Sony game has been nominated for Game of the Year. 3 of those have won.
Which ones have won? Is the question like
Yes.
what 3 games have won?
Yes.
I'm gonna say
Yeah,
Last of Us
I was
Part
counting
2.
my 3 in my head, so.
We're saying the names of the games, right?
Yeah, I'm also saying The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah, I'm saying Last of Us Part 2. I'm going to say God of War Ragnarok.
I'm also saying God of War Ragnarok.
And then I'm also going to say... No, that didn't win, I don't think. I feel like you're just waiting for me.
I am. I'm waiting for you to lock your answers because I know what the third one is. 100%.
Oh, so you want to see what I'm going to say? Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah. We're competing.
Oh, that's okay. Oh, Astrobot.
Yes, Astrobot. Because I was going to say we literally said that earlier in this episode that Astrobot won. So yeah.
You guys each are going to get 2 points.
Oh, which one did we miss?
Oh, did Ragnarok not win?
Elden Ring won that year.
Right.
Oh, that was
what
the
was the
Elden
third
Ring
one?
year.
The one you missed was original God of War, 2018.
Oh, I thought something else beat God of War.
You know what? I meant 2018 and I said Ragnarok because I remember 2018 upset Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I remember right, like that. Yeah, that was Elden Ring's year.
All right.
Damn it.
Final score: Eric 9, Mark's 11. 1 question left, just for funsies. This is the hardest one, or this is the one most involved, I guess.
Hey.
One game series, despite having 18 nomination across 3 games released since the first Game Awards, has never won a single Game Award. What game series is
like
that?
any award.
It got nominated 18 times and has not won anything.
Okay.
Wow.
18 times.
The
has
Leonardo
not won a
DiCaprio
single...
of games.
Yeah.
At least until he won his Oscar, but for the longest time, the best to never win it, basically.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what has had that many entries that could have been nominated that still didn't win anything. Although maybe that's not the way to look at it, because if there were like 2 or 3 games, but they each got nominated like 5, 6 times, something like that, that could do it.
To be clear, this is 3 games.
Right. Okay.
Wait, there are 3 games that has
3 games that
this
have
is-
released and have all total received 18 nominations in this series.
Oh,
But has
never won
but
a
have
game
never
award.
received an award.
So wait, is it 3 games or 3 series?
It's one series, 3
One series.
games.
3
Oh,
entries.
3 games in that series.
Correct. And you're
Yeah.
guessing
So
a
we're naming-
series of these games.
So we're naming the games or the series?
So, for example, I've mentioned this one already, so it won't be a thing. Final Fantasy has won for music 3 times. But if Final Fantasy, if
Yeah.
all those games, if it had been nominated for 16 Rebirth and Remake, and none of those had won, you'd say Final Fantasy is your guess.
Right.
Okay. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
we're thinking of a
say
series. Yeah.
my series, and I'm gonna say Resident Evil. I can't recall a Resident Evil,
That's not a
winning
bad guess.
much.
That's not a bad guess.
and they put
Yeah.
out enough games to have racked up the nominations. Like their release cadence is pretty frequent, or frequent enough. So do I have to name the Resident Evil game specifically?
No. Once you've guessed the category, I think it's
Okay, so I'm saying Resident Evil as a series.
okay.
See, I don't think it's Resident Evil because I think there are too many games that have come out in that span of time that would have picked up other nominations in there that I think more than 3 have been nominated.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't
the
know, but not
past.
win. They haven't won anything.
Right, but it's only 3 games have counted for the nominations, right?
That's correct.
Yes.
Yeah. Shoot. Oh shoot. I'm gonna really just throw one at the wall here. I don't think this is the answer, but it's the best thing I can come up with right now that won't leave us just sitting here for like 10 minutes. Metroid? I don't know. Because like Dread came out. I don't know. That's the best answer I can think of right now because I don't think it's anything else.
Final answers?
Yep.
Wait.
Oh.
Monster Hunter.
Oh.
Monster Hunter is my answer.
Not bad.
You are both incorrect. Would you like another chance? Or do we want to call it a game?
I don't know if I've got a second.
Do you want to go back to
In
your
me.
original guess? of Metroid?
I literally don't think it's Metroid. I will be stunned if it's Metroid. Yeah, I don't have a second guess in me.
I'm gonna say Dragon Age. Just because Inquisition was 2014, and then we got the new one. They might have been enough to actually scratch that. That's stupid. I'm changing my mind.
I have a guess after all. No, I don't. Never mind. I was like counting games in my head. I was like, no, that doesn't make sense.
I'm gonna say
it can't
actually,
be Street Fighter.
You know what my guess is gonna be? I'm gonna say Horizon, like Zero Dawn / Forbidden West. I feel like that's like I feel like that's the bridesmaid of video game franchises.
It can't be that.
I think so. And plus, there's only been 2 of them. So, those games seem like games that get a lot of nominations, but they always get overshadowed by something.
I'm guessing Horizon 2 because I think I know why it is the right one. So I'm also guessing Horizon.
Okay. Incorrect. Once more.
Damn. I thought the VR game counted.
I don't know if Horizon has never won. Actually, I'm curious. Because that's not the one I was thinking of. The one I specifically pulled up that I was really surprised by, Spider-Man.
Oh,
Marvel's Spider-Man
because Spider-Man
series.
1, 2, and Miles Morales.
Yeah, has never. It was nominated for basically all the big categories, all the best performances every year it was there. Never picked up a single one.
Huh.
Let's see if Horizon won anything. I don't actually know. Because maybe that's a backdoor answer. I don't know if the VR game was nominated, honestly.
I thought it would have, because there's a VR thing every year, right? I think it got probably a nomination for that, I would imagine.
I don't know. Did it come out next to another really big VR game and get overshadowed?
It was nominated in 2023, so that does make 3.
But would that have put it in contention with Half-Life Alyx? When was Half-Life Alyx? No, that was 2020.
It lost to Resident Evil Village, interestingly.
Yeah, okay. That's kind of funny.
Let's see.
I was going to say there's too many Resident Evil games that have come out because there was 7, Village, Remake 2, Remake 3.
Yeah, the remakes threw that number
Yeah,
off.
I think that was going to push it over. Monster Hunter, I was like, there was World, Rise, and then Wilds, but then also like Iceborne, I think, was in contention as like an entry one year.
Charles is checking.
The rules about DLC
checking.
inclusion are always kind of
Running
funky.
the calculations. There are numbers and equations flying in his room right now. Getting the committee to verify the results.
I think. Did you guys both guess Horizon, or just one of you guess Horizon?
We both guessed it.
We both guessed
Though
Horizon.
I said it first.
Marcus did say it first.
I'll give you each a point for that, because that did have 3 games. It does have a lot of nominations, and it never won.
It's never won.
It never won.
I had a feeling. I was like, I can't recall a time a gorilla person went on stage and said, "Thank you for."
Didn't even get just like a best audio or like something like one of the technical categories. That's wild.
No. Now, technically, my specific question was one series that had 18 nominations didn't get it, and they didn't have that many nominations.
Okay,
but I think it's still. We'll give each a point.
Yeah, I guess
18 nominations is wild.
Yeah,
so many.
Final scores: Eric with 10 points, Marcus with 12 points. Congratulations, Marcus. Really, the one that you really came in clutch with was that best family game.
Yeah.
Just sniping all 3 of those was very, very good. So
yeah,
congratulations.
Family Guy.
And that has been GI Oughta Know.
GI Oughta Know.
Awesome. Alrighty, let's get out of here. We got a jumbo-sized episode this week, but thank you so much for watching and listening. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed this episode. And of course, you can find us on social media. I am at Marcus Stewart 7 online. You can find Charles at ChuckDuck365, and you can find Eric at CMooC. Be sure to support the magazine. Go to GameInformer.com/subscribe. Get yourself a magazine subscription, 10 issues a year, digital and physical. And once again, starting next month and over the coming months, we're going to be appearing in bookstores and newsstands, both in the US, Canada, Europe, across the world. Go to GameInformer.com. Check out the full posting about that for all the hot details there. But thank you guys so much for joining me, and we will see y'all next time. Bye.